My name is James Rowlands. In 2015, I teamed up with my friend Dan White to create the WNR podcast. Since then, we have been giving you everything that's happened on the WWE Network. Now, in 2018, not only are we live for the Big Four events and every NXT takeover, but we celebrate 20 years since the birth of the Attitude Era. Plus, every month we'll bring you 205 Live, collections, new content, W pay-per-views and latest news on the WWE Network. Until we've watched everything, we are with you, and we are the WNR. Yes, hello, I am, and as always, I am joined by
Dan White.
And today it's the WNR167 Part 2! And it's the WWE versus WCW, and it is June-July 1998. But first, let's start with the alternate intro. 1, 2, 3, hey, baby sassy sturdy, come on, jet these pecs. Man, I'm pretty, do the monkey with me. Do you know what it is yet?
No fucking idea.
Oh, come on, hey there, baby, yeah, whatever. Well, that, my friend, was Johnny Bravo. Oh, mother.
Shall I do the proper intro?
Go on then.
In 1998, WWE and WCW were locked in a ratings war. Their shows, Raw and Nitro, went head-to-head on Mondays. The WNR podcasts go back 20 years right in the middle of the battle. We followed the war since the inception of Nitro, but now with the start of the Attitude Era and WCW still at its peak, the WNR podcasts follow it month to month. This is WWE versus WCW, the Monday Night Wars, July 98.
We are going to watch today WCW/NWO Bash at the Beach 1998, and that was the 12th of July. Unbelievable. And we're here now in San Diego, California, USA, at your favourite arena, Dan. Yes, the Cox Arena.
There was 10,095 people in attendance.
Yeah, and it got a 1.42 buy rate. So let's go through the card then. So it should be quite an exciting night. And we're going to have a Ravens Rules match, which will be Raven versus Saturn.
Well, can we not forget that Villano 4 and Villano 5 defeated Damien and Cyclop in a dark match, in a tag team. Well, up next, we've got Kidman taking on Juventud Guerrera.
Yeah, and then, of course, we've got Hair versus Hair, Chavo versus Eddie.
Here it says Stevie Ray and Chavo Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, I know. Chavo versus Stevie Ray as well. And Disco Inferno versus Conan. That should be a cracker.
Indeed, yes. We got the Giant going against Kevin Green.
WCW Cruiserweight title on the line. Chris Jericho versus Rey Mysterio.
WCW World Television Championship on the line. Bret Hart is challenging Booker T.
And the WCW World Heavyweight title on the line. Goldberg just won on Nitro. We're defending against Curt Henning. And then we've got a huge main event.
We have indeed, yes, it is Hollywood Hogan and Dennis Rodman going against DDP and Carl the Mailman Malone.
What a match that should be. But we're going to start things off with the Ravens Rules match here between Saturn and Raven. Of course, we've seen all these problems between the flock in recent months. And Saturn being kicked out and wanting to become his own man. And we see even the trunks in his look now. He's kind of gone away from the flock and wants to be his own man. And Raven is not happy. This should be a good one here. Of course, Raven's Rules match. What are the rules of Raven Rules, Dan?
There are no rules.
So we'll look at the opening promo as well. What are your thoughts on the opening for the show, Dan?
It's a very interesting set. Bash at the beach. So, of course, it's set on a beach. You know, it is good, though. It's something different. They change it out for their pay-per-views. Halloween Havoc, you know, they've got the gravestones and that. It's good to have a bit of back setting that goes along with the storyline.
Yeah, no, that's cool. The opening promo, though, that was good as well. We had, like, say, beach setting there for that. And we had a shot of Goldberg, of course, becoming WCW champion. And they were more focused on, like we say, the main event with Rodman versus Karl Malone here. But, it's already started and Saturn's gone to reach Raven on the outside and already thrown him into barricade. And then we see, of course, some commentary. Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, Mike Tenay. Then we get a word from Mean Gene saying everybody's excited at this pay-per-view here. And like I say, a couple of good matches. I'm looking forward to Bret versus Booker. That should be great. Of course, Jericho versus Mysterio as well. Jericho put Mysterio out of action with a leg injury many months ago. And Raven gets headbutt here.
Wow. Fucking hell. Wipes out a fan after throwing Raven into barricade, and it just like literally goes into the fans and near enough takes one out.
And now Saturn choking Raven with his own, I think, cloth or T-shirt.
And again, Raven back first into barricade.
Well, we can forget the last time we were on pay-per-view with WWE versus WCW. Wait a minute, Saturn hits Raven with a dropkick.
Stumbling off the top rope.
Yeah. Last time out, we were watching WWE King of the Ring 1998, and I don't really remember anything happening on that pay-per-view, do you? Anything happen there?
No, it's quite boring.
Yeah. Of course, I'm joking. It was 20 years since the Hell in a Cell, Mankind versus The Undertaker. So would WCW have a moment like that?
Sorry, but it's Raven's rules match. There are no rules. Yeah, the referee called for a break because Raven got to the rope while Saturn had a...
But did Raven get to the rope?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it'd be fine. It's his rules, isn't it?
All
right. So, yeah, last time we were out, we had that. We had Austin versus Kane. And we'll be coming back with WWE in a couple of weeks' time, focusing on what happened in Raw in June and July. But now, like I said, we're going to catch up with WCW. At the end of this as well, at the end of the pay-per-view, we'll catch up with the Nitros leading up to this. And we tried to intermit between WWE and WCW events. I think it's worked so far. As Saturn going to the top there, Raven down.
Looking for that leg drop off the top rope, but Raven moves out of the way and Saturn hits nothing but ring mat.
And Nick Patrick now going to administer the count, but Raven's already up. A nice suplex there on Saturn. And now Raven going to go outside, maybe look for some toys.
Oh, that ring looks shit.
So you like the setting of the on a beach, and I think that's still quite cool. But look how old the ring looks there when he gets... And even the apron's not that nice, is it? Do you know what I mean?
No.
Do you think it's the same ring they move around, or do you think it's just the one that's in the local area?
I think it's probably the same one that they move around. They take it around with, and they've got ring technicians and that, but it's just not that pretty. I mean, like, the ring apron looks really dirty.
Yeah. I mean, the logo on it is cool and that, but like you say, you want it more clean. And I think it's like WWF production values are getting a little bit better. But it's still quite a nice setting, and Raven's crotched on the top rope.
Saturn's looking to springboard and take Raven out, but Raven ducks it, and Saturn tumbles to the outside.
And now Saturn's in trouble.
The former Army Ranger.
He went missing a couple of years ago, but being found now. And Raven there, my God.
Side Russian leg sweep sent Saturn back first into their barricade.
Well, Saturn's in serious trouble. Might have a concussion there. Right on the back of barricade, unlike WWF, there's no protective casing on the barricade. And
the fans just move it back into position.
I mean, the fans do seem a bit more rowdy at a WCW event. I don't know if that's just... But it's just shit they throw in and stuff. Like even the Goldberg match that we saw last episode. You know, the rubbish that got thrown in there. It didn't ruin a moment, but it just looked untidy, didn't it? You know, like... Yeah. Oh, okay, security maybe do a better job. And Raven definitely control this one. Sat in the middle of the ring now.
You know, there's rumours that some of these fans are letting for free and they're not paying an awful lot for their tickets.
Yeah, I mean, this could be the problem sometimes, and even WWF do it with some events, you know, but WCW's still a hot prospect, like you mentioned last time out. You know, they're still hot in their own right, just don't compare them to WWE, compare them to any other company. And they're still making, you know, what was it, $400 million a year. So it's good going, especially when you consider it was before. It's just greed, isn't it? And Raven's got the sleeper. Oh,
but then again, you know, they could have made a lot more if they weren't reliant on putting all their money into Nash, who can't wrestle, Hogan, who can't wrestle. You know, tying up big contracts for blokes that just can't wrestle, and have given himself creative control, and it just, you know, eventually fucks up the product completely.
This is the thing, and we know, you know, we learned now with Saturn and Raven that they are good workers, and who knows what could have happened if they're given more to do. Like I said, the focus on the Hogans and stuff. Let the other guys have a chance. You could have pressed something else. And also, if you got rid of Luger or even a Hogan, they'd gone back to WWF. Do you really think that would have worked with Austin and Rock and all those other people there?
No, definitely not. I don't reckon WWF would have had them back.
And it's weird, so if they're not wanted there, what would have happened? And Saturn's recovered. He was hitting some beautiful karate kicks in the corner. Now he's got the steel chair.
He just hit Raven with it. Now he's springboard leg drop straight across the chair that was perched on Raven's face. Saturn into the cover. 1, 2. Oh. Raven just managing to kick out.
Ah. Yeah, so I play a lot of wrestling games, and I would love to have a WCW game now on the PS4 that was the roster in 1998, because there was so much you could do match-wise and storyline-wise. You could never get bored, Just imagine the kind of shit you could do. As Saturn's got the chair. Oh, my God.
Raven's rules is legal. But Saturn with a double backdrop on both Sick Boy and Lodi.
And now Saturn's got the chair, sets it up. Lodi Riggs in trouble there, and Saturn's got Raven in trouble.
He just bulldogged him head first into the steel steps.
Beach flocks. I don't think it's going to help him out. Now Saturn's getting another table. And what a crazy way to start a pay-per-view. It's been quite entertaining so far.
It has, yeah. I'm enjoying the match.
And what's Saturn got planned here?
Is this one of them non-collapsing tables, though?
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? Well, he's got a table for 2 if he wants it.
Table for 2. Add one more, and you get a great TV show.
Oh, my God. Raven is on a table, and Saturn setting up the other table on top of him. Uh-oh. And now Saturn is a little bit crazy. Oh, and here comes Canyon saving him. Saturn doesn't know that. Oh, my God.
How does Saturn not know that?
Well, how did he miss the tables as well? He skimmed the top. None of them broke. Canyon throws him in. What do you think Canyon was doing? Giving him a pep talk. And now he raises the hand of Raven. Oh, there you go.
Sends him face first into the steel chair.
So Canyon doesn't want to be part of the flock either. It's really not going well for Raven at the moment.
I think it's going even worse for Saturn.
Well, Saturn's in there now.
Yeah, because he's just been thrown in.
Yeah, there he goes. Lodi puts him on Saturn. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Oh!
Saturn just managing to kick out, and the referee's dabbing.
It looks like TJP like that. And Raven slowly gets to his feet. What's that, love? He's got the chair set up. Here we go. Irish whip. Drop toe hold. Oh!
Saturn face first into the chair. Raven with a roll up. 1, 2.
No, referee's really slow there counting. Only got the 2, and Raven's getting annoyed.
Looking to hit Saturn with a chair, but Saturn with a super kick takes out Raven.
And here comes Riggs. But Saturn picks him up, Death Valley Driver. Oh!
Drops him with that.
Oh, God. Raven with a kick, even flow DDT. Turns him round.
1,
2, 3. Raven wins. Raven's rules. And what the flock is going on there? Dan, what are your thoughts on that match?
I thought it was a bloody good match. I just didn't really like the ending.
So, yeah, that match. Good, isn't it? Yeah. The Mean Gene's here now. Wow, look at Mean Gene. And he wants to talk to Eddie. So, yeah, I think a great way to start the show, having Raven versus Saturn, Raven's rules. The kind of rules leads it to quite an enjoyable match, and I think both men brought it well. I think Raven getting the victory under those circumstances. I'm not really sure on one-on-one. Maybe could he get the job done against Saturn, but that's the storyline possibilities opened up. We wonder what Eddie's going to have to say. And he's going to have a hair versus hair match with Chavo later, and Mean Gene, of course, be good to talk to about that.
Yes, well, Mean Gene's not really qualified to talk about a hair versus hair match because he lacks it. Apart from his top lip, look at that beautiful moustache.
Rumour has it.
Mean
Gene was a founding member in Moustache Mountain.
Do you know who he founded it with? One Adolf Hitler.
Well, Eddie's got a crazy look in his eyes, and Chavo's been walking around with a wooden horse called Pepe recently. So I don't know who's the crazier Guerrero. hoping to find out tonight he's going to make sure he ends Chavo. Well, Eddie's going to get someone else to do it for him, you know. Stevie Ray's got a match with Chavo first, and then he said he's going to pick up the pieces. It's the Guerrero way, though, isn't it?
Well, you can lie, you can cheat, and you can steal. But if you must lie in the arms of a loved one. If you must cheat death. And if you must steal away from bad company.
Right, Eddie, cheat to win. Mean Gene's ready for action. Of course, who can forget 2 years ago on this day, Bash at the Beach 1996, when Hogan joined the NWO very first time. 2-year-long storyline, still not sorted out now. I mean, nowadays we haven't got any storylines that started 2 years ago, have we? Well, you could argue Reigns and Lesnar, but who wants to? We're going to get our next match, more Flock.
Get the Flock out of here.
Well, no, seriously, and here comes Kidman, and he's going to be in action. Of course, Lodi coming out here.
Yes, he's going to go against Juventud Guerrero.
Well, Hoovy's had his problems with Reese recently.
Did you stutter then? Reese recently?
No, I did not on purpose. And this should be a more cruiserweight-based action to get this started. Of course, Hoovy losing the mask. And the reason why Bischoff didn't like masked wrestlers, he wanted to get away from that. He thought he could market them more without a mask. And we can see the push Hoovy's got since, you know, beating Reese and feuding with a Flock. My God. Juventud Guerrero, one of those guys, I think, thought he was a lot better than he actually was. You know? What I've seen of him, yeah, he's alright, but he was never the level of Mysterio, you know. And even Kidman, I think Kidman's very underrated in that way.
I think Willie Skidman is.
I think not only you got to look at his WCW success and what he did, I mean, he had a feud with Hogan in the end, coming over to WWE with Torrie Wilson originally, part of the Invasion storyline, and then having a feud with the Cruiserweight Championship. I can always remember when it was Kidman Mysterio against the world's greatest tag team at Vengeance. And it was a fucking unbelievable tag team match. And I thought, my God, this is so exciting. And this should be great as we start already. Collar and elbow tie up both men. And the juice is loose in this one.
And both men just rumbling around the ring. Bit of a stalemate. They're both going for big right hands. Another collar and elbow tie up. Billy Kidman sneaks in a side headlock.
A great way to start. We've had a hardcore match. Now Cruiserweight. This is what WWE can show at a pay-per-view, what they're all about. You know, some people might not watch Nitros or Thunders, but you go back to a pay-per-view, you can see the basis of what we got. Like I said, we've got a good card apart from the main event. You know, that's going to be a struggle, but we'll get through it as we always do, and that was nice between two men.
Yeah, both men tumbling about the mat, looking for hip lock takedowns. And Juice winning that one, flipping over. Kidman looking for a clothesline, Juice ducking it, getting a couple of backhanded knife-edge chops across the chest of Kidman.
And Kidman definitely feeling that, but managing to reverse the Irish whip, ducks down.
Juve flipping over. Oh, lovely spinning head scissors takedown.
Now Kidman struggling to get to the ropes. And the crowd definitely behind Juventud.
Where's Flair sign?
Kidman clotheslined out. There's not a...
I thought that was Bray Wyatt then.
Well, Lodi's out here. I've just got to pause this quick. This is fucking mental. Right, so I've just gone through the 11 matches. Only one match goes over... Well, two matches go over 10 minutes. The Raven match we've just seen, that's 10 minutes, 40 seconds. The Eddie Chavo match is like nearly 12 minutes. Everything else is under 10 minutes, apart from the main event. 24 minutes long. And that's not including the intros. Look at the gap. Look at the hole.
I thought there was a Chris Benoit match.
We're going to have to fill. Not Lodi holding up Kidman. How can this go wrong?
Well, Kidman ducks out the way. Juventud ducks out the way. No, Lodi.
Lodi's got Hoovy. I don't know how this could go wrong.
Well, Hoovy could duck out the way and Kidman would take out his friend Lodi. And then the Juice jumps off, springboards his way out to the outside, takes down both Lodi and Billy Kidman. And someone who are wrestling his fake side.
The good one, mate. Come to a fucking wrestling show. And Juventud looks to be doing well at the moment and kicking a hat at Lodi. That apron's annoying me now we brought that up. They should have really done something about that.
It just looks filthy.
I know, just, you know, and even the mat that the thing's on doesn't look clean. You know what I mean? It's not like it's aesthetically pleasing. Both men back in, Kidman Irish whipping, Juve in the corner. Hoovy ducking over. Kidman trying to suplex. Hoovy turns it round.
Oh, wheelbarrow takes him straight over his head and just plants him on the back of his neck.
Kidman now going to go for the cover. No, he's just basically a choke. Referee saying, what are you making a call? That's Mark Curtis in there.
It looks like he's riddled with AIDS.
Yeah, no, it's cancer that got him. And Kidman throwing Hoovy out, eliminates him. Royal Rumble and onto those mats, which are wafer thin.
They are, James. They're mere millimetres thick and placed on top of concrete.
I've learnt that from you. And now Kidman's got Hoovy going to try and powerbomb him on the outside. No.
Oh, flips him straight over and sends him throat first into barricade. And I've learnt that the abdominal stretch was made famous by Wilbur Shakespeare.
Exactly, Wilbur Shakespeare. Oh,
Wilbur Schneider.
Wilbur Schneider. Back in 1916. Who the thought that, eh? We'll go through the history of wrestling at some point in this podcast. You can't wait for Frank. All right, go away, mate. Kidman, I was about to say George Hackenschmidt and Frank A. Gotch. But let's concentrate on this. As Kidman comes flying off the apron, Hoovy catches him.
Well, Hoovy ducks out of the way. Kidman goes knees first into barricade. And then Hoovy just flips him over.
This is turning into kind of Ravens rules match. Spent more outside. They spent more time on the outside than they have inside. Kidman trying to run away. And Hoovy now.
Sunset flip, looking to plant Kidman, and does eventually onto them wafer thin mats. And of course, you know just how thin they are.
Well, they are wafer thin, and Kidman is in serious trouble.
Is that on tarmac?
It looks that way, doesn't it? And Hoovy with the elbow drop. Might be a certain carpet.
Potentially.
And now Hoovy throws Kidman back in. Now it gets in. Fans booing Lodi. Now Kidman's getting set up in a corner.
Oh.
Oh.
Kidman with a low blow. Set out powerbomb from the second rope. Hoovy's been folded up. Kidman, I think he hurt his butt bone.
And what? The butt bone's very important. Kidman going for the cover, but Hoovy kicks out.
Ah.
What's refereeing? The standard of refereeing in 1998 is atrocious. And I know it probably hasn't improved as much as we hoped. But, I mean, that was a low blow on the top, and it was just kind of let go by the referee.
Well, in the referee's defence, I'm sure he's more concerned about his cancer.
He will be missed too soon, Nami. I thought he put his finger up at him then, my God. And now Kidman's got to sleep on Hoovy. Hoovy gets to his feet.
Oh, a couple of punches and chops, but Kidman turns it around, throws him into the corner. Irish whip to the corner, but Juice gets his feet up. Looking for a clothesline. Kidman ducks it. Juice ducks one from Kidman. Catches another couple of knife-edge chops. Kidman ducks the third one. Rolled up by Hoovy. But Kidman managing to kick out. And straight up to his feet with a lovely vertical drop kick.
Well, that was right on the button there for Billy Kidman and both men going through the paces here. And the crowd, probably not as invested as I would like, but this is still great action. And now Kidman Irish whipping Juventud. Again ducks down low, gets kicked in the face.
Oh, Hoovy looking to take out Kidman, but Kidman sidesteps it, kicks his legs over just enough so he goes through the second and third rope.
And Kidman is not going to leave him there. He's going to the top.
But Hoovy recovers quickly. He goes to meet Kidman.
Oh, this is a dangerous predicament for both men. And Kidman's not going to suplex Hoovy out of the ring, is he?
Well, he's looking for it. But both men are holding on. Oh, Hoovy crutches Kidman on the top rope in exactly the same place that Saturn crutched Raven earlier.
And that is fucking brilliant there. Springboard into the Hurricane Rana pin attempt. Kidman somehow kicking out. And that was nice by both. And now Hoovy, Irish whip again. Catches him with kind of unorthodox Northern Lights. Kidman getting the shoulder up.
Simple but effective rake to the eyes from Kidman. But Hoovy catches him.
Oh my God, turns him round. Kidman lands on his neck but gets the shoulder up at 2.
2. Oh, lovely bulldog from Kidman. 1, 2. Oh. Hoovy managing to kick out.
Now Kidman showing a little bit of frustration here. Can't put Juventud away.
Juventud sweeps the legs, takes Kidman over, looking for a pin attempt, but Kidman takes it up. Tests the strength time now between these two.
Juve misses and Kidman German, but no. Juventud driver.
Bang. Hits it.
Two. Oh.
Well, Kidman managing to kick out. Looks a bit like the Tyler driver.
Well, Kidman there showing his toughness, getting the shoulder up. It's like the Michinoku driver, isn't it?
It is like the Rikishi driver.
Oh, and a spine buster there by Kidman. Perfectly set up in the corner. 7-year itch. I like to call it the shooting star. Oh!
Well, Juventud managed to set up just in time. Billy Kidman hits nothing but mat. Straps her down. The juice means business.
Well, we've seen shooting star now. Hoover's going to go up. Here he comes, 450. Oh!
Hits it. 1, 2.
My God, Juventud gets the victory. And again, I don't know if my eyes are deceiving me, but are we 2 matches down and 2 quite enjoyable matches in?
I would go with that, yeah.
I mean, like the opposite of like the first one. Yeah, we saw a little bit of hardcore stuff on the outside, but I think really, really good between the 2 men. Each clicked. I know they face each other on Nitro, but some of those moves like the springboard Hurricane Runner and the 2 finishes wouldn't be out of place today.
No, definitely not.
And that's something that they definitely bring to this, and a really, really nice start to the pay per view.
Do you know why?
Why?
No NWO.
For life. Oh my God, we're backstage.
WCWWrestling.com.
Well, thank God it doesn't work anymore because Colin's on there. Orderly!
Arriba la raza for life.
And he's on there with Newt Gingrich and Pat Tanaka. He's not, I don't know who they are.
Look at that laptop.
I know, my God.
State of the art.
That would kill a man.
That's probably got at least 12 megabytes of memory.
At least 14 megabytes of child pornography on that.
Why is everyone wearing Bray Wyatt shirts?
Look at the USB stick behind them. That's mental. Well, we're going to see what happens here the rest of the pay-per-view. And I can hear Harlem Heat's music. Is it going to be Booker T? Is it going to be Booker? One of our favourites. It's going to be... Oh, no. Stevie Ray. Sorry, everybody. Didn't mean to get your hopes. No, Stevie Ray's out here. Calls 1/2 of Harlem Heat. Going against Chavo. The very less talented, yeah. I never got Stevie Ray. Never got him.
The no time champion.
No, I really didn't. I didn't get it. I like Booker T, but Stevie's kind of like... Yeah, if Booker T didn't have the kind of talent... That would be Stevie Ray. You know, I don't really people might say, "Oh no, fuck off, Stevie Ray." Well, give me 5 good Stevie Ray matches and I'll watch them. You know what I mean? Like that's easy enough, isn't it? Give me 5. I could give you 5 Chavo Guerrero matches and they'd be quite good.
Kane
against Rey Mysterio when he actually beat Mysterio in an I Quit match, just shattered his knee against Eddie Guerrero at the Royal Rumble when he turned his back here. Not back here. You know what I'm trying to say. In the future when we're watching it, but in the past when we're recording it. And Chavo's out here, and he is a fry short of a Happy Meal. He's got a water gun, but he's got an inflatable just in case he goes down tonight. But no Pepe, I'm upset. We have seen him. And Chavo's definitely got a screw loose. And I think that is thanks to Eddie. Eddie's just constant bombardment on Chavo, making him feel bad, made him snap. And that can happen sometimes. That's what happened to Jared. He just, one day, just disappeared into the woods. We haven't seen him.
Who?
Exactly. And Chavo's going to be here with Stevie. I mean, who do you favour in this match?
Oh, I've got to back Chavo. I mean, you know, you can't go against crazy.
No, I mean, and Chavo is crazy. And Eddie's already got the scissors ready for the hair versus
I'm glad
hair
that
match.
he's walking and not running with scissors.
Yeah, but he's holding the scissors the wrong way. But like I said, he is walking, so that is fine. And Chavo, I think, realising Eddie's at ringside, he's got the microphone. Chavo's dedicating this match to his favourite wrestler. And that is Eddie Guerrero, and he's ready for action now. And Guerrero was loving it a couple of weeks ago, watching Goldberg destroy Chavo. Will he enjoy it tonight? A size difference.
But a speed difference as well, though.
And that's what Chavo's got to be. Quick.
And a talent difference.
Well, he can't pose. He can't mock Stevie. He's going to be in trouble. And he really is bringing out a character here, Chavo. Look at Chavo dancing away. Now he wants Stevie to dance.
He's passing it over, but Stevie's having none of it. Booker T would have danced.
He was for the Rooney'd. And now Chavo. Oh, here we go. Gentleman as he is. And Eddie cheering on Chavo there. See, that's nice. Shake the hands. Uh-oh.
Stevie Ray's got a grip on Chavo's hand.
Oh, and Chavo said that Stevie had him submission and that he tapped out from it. And Stevie's like, well, no, I didn't really have a submission in. And Chavo's like, no, you did. You beat me. And that is genius from Chavo. Because Stevie... Well, that is genius from Chavo. So I guess we're wrestling now then. Hair versus hair. Stevie's gone. And Chavo there saying, right, I'm ready for you. Eddie's plan has backfired. And we're going to get Eddie Guerrero versus Chavo next. What a stroke of genius there by Chavo Guerrero. And we always talk about Eddie being the clever one. Chavo showing a bit of smarts. We're going to get the match underway. So we are finally going to see Chavo versus Eddie. Of course, they wrestled last month with Chavo winning. But now there's hair in the line. I mean, if Eddie lost that signature mullet, that would be awful, surely.
Don't call me Shirley, but he would look silly without that beautiful mullet of his.
Oh, so there's a lot on the line. Who is the better Guerrero? We're going to find out. Chavo lock. And Chavo knocks him down with a shoulder block. Showing his strength. Leapfrog by Eddie. And Chavo biting Eddie on the derriere. And the fans loving it. And Eddie doesn't know what the hell's going on. You got to think how many times they've wrestled each other. You know, close age, even though they are uncle and nephew. Must have wrestled each other hundreds of times.
At least thousands of times.
They know each other's styles, didn't they? And Eddie making sure he doesn't need a rabies shot. It's Chavo at the moment.
Which is crazy.
Eddie comes back at him and Charles Robinson can't believe that. Oh my God, you don't want to see that.
It's great acting by Eddie.
It is. It's good acting by the both of them, especially when they don't dislike each other. To bring that kind of comedy element to it as well. It's something that I do enjoy, and people say, well, comedy doesn't equal money. Well, there's nothing wrong with having a laugh. No, I don't see a problem with that.
No. Chavo's having a dance. He's inviting Eddie to do it.
Well, I believe that was the Funky Chicken by Chavo. And
Eddie's getting frustrated, kicks the bottom turnbuckle, hurts his ankle.
And he's holding it like the dance move. Chavo's saying, yeah, you're going to play along now.
Now Chavo's perched on the ropes. Eddie brings a chair into the situation.
And now Chavo's got the chair.
Now Chavo's just sitting where he wants.
Well, I guess Alistair Black was a fan of Chavo when he was a young man. And Eddie now's going to take advantage. No. Eddie doesn't know what's going on. And now he's going to try a handshake. He's going to try to play it on his terms. They're
trying to out Guerrero each other, I suppose.
And Chavo doesn't want to fall for that one. Well, this is how Stevie Ray got the submission, don't forget. So that's a dangerous move. And now Eddie on his knees. He crosses his heart and hope to die. Oh. Easy. He's back to his feet. There we go. No.
Oh, but Chavo pulls him in, clotheslines his Uncle Eddie down.
Eddie now with a kick to the gut. Trying to get some punches, but Chavo reverses it.
A high back bump, Eddie all the way over.
Oh my God, I think he hit the lights and now he's going to hug Charles Robinson. Chavo follows him in. And another bite to the butt. And Charles Robinson says, look, you cannot do it. And Chavo say no, he was kissing it. I don't think Eddie realises the monster he's created here in Chavo. No, Chavo backing up Eddie in the corner. The referee's going to get between them. I don't know if that's a great idea. And Eddie Guerrero, ever the opportunist, takes a cheap shot, drop kick to the leg. And now he's going to take Chavo to the woodshed, as JR would say.
Yeah, he's got him in the corner. He's ramming his shit of Chavo. Looking to come running in. Oh, running drop kick. Straight to the lower back of Chavo.
He sorely impacted Chavo's midsection and moving with the force of that drop kick. And now Eddie is not laughing. Oh, my word.
A lovely suplex there. Eddie leaving his feet. Drop kick to the back.
You know, we talk about Benoit and the style, but Eddie's just on point with everything that he does as well. And of course, later on, we're going to see Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho and Booker T versus Chris Benoit. So at the moment, I'm quite happy.
Huh? Booker T Benoit.
We're seeing Booker T versus Bret Hart. And we're seeing Booker T versus Bret Hart. So I'm quite happy at the moment. There should be 2 great matches, and of course a tag team match. And Chavo's in trouble now, draped over the apron. He lunges over with a knee to the back of Chavo's head.
Irish whips Chavo into barricade, and a man with a handsome mullet. Looks like Peter Stringfellow.
Yeah, he died a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
And now Eddie's in control of this match. Might not be happy. And now he's not going to try and insult Chavo with going for a gory bomb. And he's basically crucifying Chavo at this moment in time as Eddie with his dad's own move. So this is all Guerrero.
A Guerrero doing a move to a famous by another Guerrero.
And Chavo desperate to fight out of this. Is anybody has got an escape? It must be a Guerrero himself.
Turns it into an arm drag takedown. But Eddie straight back up to his feet and runs through Chavo with a clothesline.
And that just shows how quick Eddie is. And this is the thing about Eddie Guerrero as well. He hits the offensive move, and then that allows him a chance to recover afterwards. As we see the dreaded Razor at ringside.
Not Scott Hall.
Yeah.
That would be the Razor's Edge.
Oh, yeah. And Eddie now has got the camel clutch on.
The accolade.
And he's wearing the new WWE Champion's accolades move. You know it's going to happen.
Bold call.
Jinder Mahal won it at fuck around. No one saw it. Exactly the same thing's going to happen. And Eddie Guerrero now wearing away on Chavo. Eddie Guerrero, I'm being told by Mike Tenay, 5-1 in hair matches. The only one he ever lost was with his tag team partner. Just wasn't Eddie Gilbert, was it?
Big right hands and some big chops from Eddie. Irish whip. Oh, but Chavo turns it into a head scissors takedown. Leaps over the top of Eddie.
Oh!
And he just flips him over. The back of Eddie's legs hitting the middle ring rope. Now Chavo's got the momentum fully in his corner.
And now Chavo with a huge chop to Eddie. He's going to fight back. Show his toughness.
Big European uppercut to follow it up with. Irish rip reversal by Eddie. Chavo looking to springboard over, but rolls through. Tilt-a-whirl backbreaker from Chavo. Textbook stuff.
And now Chavo's getting momentum. Guerrero's in trouble. Eddie, that is. Oh.
Eddie grabs Chavo's trunks, pulls him headfirst into the turnbuckle, sends him careening to the outside.
And now Eddie can take his get again. Eddie can get his breath back. Yeah, Art Barr's former tag team partner. Fucking hell, what am I forgetting shit like that for? And now Eddie getting rid of the protective mats, and now that is... Well, what's underneath the mats, Dan?
Concrete.
Pure, cold,
Hard. Concrete.
Hard.
Solid.
Solid as a concrete. And now Eddie's trying to suplex Chavo.
Chavo reverses it and suplexes Eddie instead.
Well, we might be moments away until the mullet has got to disappear. And Chavo will take a count out, but Eddie's straight back in.
Unable to recover much, though.
And now Chavo has the advantage. This is his to lose. Taking his time with Eddie, saying he's going to put him away. Slam him down. And where's Chavo going? Up top. Oh.
Eddie bounces against the top rope, though. Crutches Chavo.
Now Eddie Guerrero going all the way up with Chavo.
Superplex.
And both men down now. That was huge impact. Well, Eddie tried to crawl over the pin. And Chavo's already up to his feet. A strip now by Guerrero, but Chavo catches Eddie. Pulls him up on that top turnbuckle.
Slams him down. Chavo's going up top.
And what's he going to go for?
Frog splash, but Eddie got his knees up Mother Brown.
My God. Well, Chavo trying to hit Eddie's own move on him. And that might have been a mistake. And now Eddie's going to try and hit Chavo's finish on him. Tornado DDT.
Bang, plants him.
I don't think Eddie's finished there. He's got the scissors. He's going to cut Chavo's hair already. It's not over yet. Charles Robinson getting involved there.
He managed to wrestle the scissors off of Eddie. Eddie going up top looking for the frog splash.
Oh.
Chavo sits up just in time.
Last second there. Now this might be Chavo's chance.
Now Chavo planting Eddie with a tornado DDT.
And Chavo could go for the cover, but he doesn't want to.
Well, he wants to cut Eddie's hair before he's won the match.
Well, he wants to get payback. The referee's not going to let it happen.
Eddie with a roll up. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
And Eddie Guerrero gets the victory.
And Chavo's got the scissors. Charles Robson get in between them saying, no, you've lost.
Looking to cut some of Charles Robinson's beautiful blonde locks off.
How dare you, sir? And now Eddie must be happy because he's won. Thanks to Charles Robinson.
Well, Charles was in charge.
And now we go, the Clippers in the ring. And Eddie's got to shave Chavo. I don't think Chavo understands what the loser hair versus hair match actually has to do.
Evidently not.
Well, Chavo grabs the razor and he's going to cut Eddie. No. He's cutting his own hair. And staring at Eddie. And Eddie's like, you've lost it, mate.
Oh, I see.
What do you think of that then? What do you think of the match first, and then we'll talk about Chavo's
I thought it was a brilliant match between these two guys. Really well worked. You know, you can tell they've got definite chemistry as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, the mental thing about it, right, is that we've caught up with like 2 months of WCW, and some of it's been good, some of it's been really bad. And yet this pay-per-view's made me forget all the kind of negative things so far, and just all the positive things. Like I say, we've had a great opener, we've had the Cruiserweight style match, and now we've just had Eddie versus Chavo telling a story. It's just really enjoyable, and I'm surprised that WWE didn't have more success when you consider what it's doing at this moment in time. It's enjoyable, you know. It's been, we're under an hour in, and already it's been better than any Nitro I've seen in the past little while. And again, they're really, really enjoyable. Chavo is mental. What do you think of Chavo Guerrero?
I think it's lush.
It's a character we don't really see as much, and Chavo plays it, I think, really well.
He just sat there in the ring, squirting a water pistol into his mouth while shaving his own head. I mean, you just couldn't make this stuff up.
You couldn't. Oh,
shaving his armpits now as well.
Oh my word. So we got a bald Guerrero, but it's Chavo, but he doesn't mind. Unfortunately for Chavo, his hair won't really grow back for him. Don't have a go at the young man, but you know. But he's definitely shaving his head now. Well, I'll tell you what, he's not doing a bad job on his hair either. Well, Robinson's saying that's it. And he shaved his head. My God, and Chavo leaves here now. A different man.
Look, Charles Robinson's like, you're a fucking loony. Like, fuck would I do that to my beautiful blonde locks?
Yeah. And he still looks like that to this day, Charles Robinson.
He's handsome as ever. Hasn't aged a day.
They haven't. Oh my God. And Schiavone is the widest. Then Tenay. I'm impressed by Schiavone's body there. I mean, he's a big man.
He's nearly as wide as Rhino.
He is. He's actually the same size as that Bash at the Beach sign on the announce desk, which is pretty fucking impressive when you think about it. But of course, we're all summary here, ready for this. And like I said, WWE always had themed pay-per-views, didn't they? Where it was at the beach, or it was Halloween, or if it was Great American Bash last year, with all the last month for all the flags and everything like that as well. So I think it's cool. And speaking of cool, we're not going to have that next, because unfortunately, it's a useless one going to come out here.
But he's going against Conan.
Hey, leave him alone. I'm a fan of disco. Yes, I'm a fan of the Disco Inferno. Here we go. We can hear the music. And Dan, it's disco time. Disco fever. Disco fever.
Yes, but he's got Alex Wright here.
Yeah. Disco fever. I mean, these dancing duo. Can it get any better than the man beast, Alex Wright? That's what he calls his penis. And the Disco Inferno, eh? I mean, how impressive is Alex Wright's slong, you know?
That deserves to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. That's how impressive it really is. My God.
Disco fever.
We talk about it. I mentioned watching the Andre the Giant documentary, and there's a... Do you know Andre the Giant? When the girls liked him so much, Ric Flair was interviewed, and he goes, "Brother, he had a 24-inch ring. What do you think that meant?" Apparently, Alex Wright's is bigger than that, which is incredible. Bigger than a giant. Yeah, Disco Inferno und Alex Wright. Der Discotheque. Alex Wright's penis is so impressive, it debuted 5 years before he did. It made Mark Tardis put clothes on. Well, Disco wants to get the crowd into it, and I don't think they're going along.
Getting rowdy.
Bowdy, and this is better than any Wolfpack put together, Disco and Alex Wright. Yeah, we're going to see him dance. Oh, no. But instead of that, we get... Oh. And Heenan's turned into a K-Dog lover. Nah. You're better off making sandcastles. And here come the Red and Black. And what a reaction for them. K-Dog, L-Dog, and K-Dog. Shit, I've got to think something else. N-Dog. Oh, hang on a minute. I don't want to go there. But here comes the Wolfpack. Well, the Wolfpack get a hell of a reception. And Nash not wrestling, thankfully.
It's Alex Wright at NXT.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the fans love them. And Dan, you're a huge fan of the Wolfpack. We're going to finally see what they're all about. We've heard all the hype. And now Conan's going to be in action. And Disco's got help in one, but Luger and Nash there. Well, Nash makes some nonsense comments, and now we've got Conan. Just take you back to your old days, Dan.
Bowdy.
Well, Wolfpack's here. Get a great response. And one of the things, the crowd load, not a whole lot of wrestling T-shirts. I mean, there's a few, but you would say it's 70-30 in favour of just plain T-shirts. I think with the WWF, that I don't know if their merchandise machine was better, but they seem to be selling a whole lot more product. You know what I mean? With the T-shirts and the stuff going on there. I mean, you can't really see that many red and black T-shirts in the crowd. As I said, I can see 3, but it's still NWA ones there. And this action's already started. And this is the match you've been looking forward to, Dan. Why?
It's Wolfpack.
Makes me sick. It's Disco.
And we might get a glimpse of Alex Wright's schlong.
Well, he's at ringside, so we already are.
Das Gargantuan Schlong, yeah.
Oh, my word. Disco's in trouble. And look, this is how popular Conan is. The people have gone out to get drinks during his match. Bowdy, Conan to those Emps, mate. Well, Disco and Conan never made it in the WWE afterwards.
Conan's been barred for life, hasn't he?
Yep. And Disco hasn't made it either, thank God. Now Disco dancing.
There he is. He's repackaged as Fandango.
Fandango is twice the man. Disco is. Disco.
Breezango's half the man that Alex Wright is.
Disco.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, Alex Wright comes back to be with Breezango. I'd pay to see that.
Schlong.
Well, call your man. I think this is nearly over now.
Oh, he's cuddling.
Oh, well done, Disco.
Disco deposits Conan to the outside. Alex Wright punching away at him.
Yeah, uppercut.
And the Wolfpack aren't even helping him.
No, they don't need to. Conan just getting the shit kicked out of him. And Alex Wright. Now that is some dancing. Oh no.
Luger's round.
Don't hurt him.
Luger's struggling.
He's got the torture rack in and Nash is in. Behind the referee's back.
Plants him with a jackknife.
Did we really need that? Alex Wright is getting stretched on the outside. Tequila Sunrise by Conan.
Well, Alex Wright isn't used to getting stretched. He's used to stretching people, though, with his huge schlong.
I feel sorry for Disco Inferno when they get to the back later of Alex Wright. But yes, Nash, jackknife, got involved, and he looks out of breath. He don't look in great shape, does he, really?
He's probably coked out of his pickle.
To be fair, he is drinking heavily, and Conan wins, but thankfully it's over before too much damage can be done. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, as you say, it was over before it did any real harm, really. It's just, you know, a bit of a showcase match for the Wolfpack, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's weird they're going against someone like Alex Wright and Disco. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to go against anybody, wouldn't they go against some bigger competition than that? I mean, there's enough talent on the roster for that to happen, but instead it's Disco and Alex Wright getting a kind of, I say, rub from the Wolfpack. Wolfpack is very, very popular, so WWE have got a few for it.
Yeah, but they're on a pay-per-view. They're getting the big check.
Yeah, no, fair play to Disco and Alex Wright to be involved. And we get the dreaded NWO music.
But it is the other NWO music this time, and it is the Giant, and he's going against Kevin Green.
Well, Kevin Green, tonight in the main event we got basketball players. Kevin Green's a former well, I think a current NFL player at this time, and well known. But again, going back 20 years to a sport that we're not sure. Well, I'm not sure, but I don't want to speak about you. Might be
retired a year later.
Oh, did he? Right. So I know you know a little bit more about it than I do. But Kevin Green, I don't know. Giant coming out here. At least he's not smoking as the pyro goes off.
He is indeed. Yes. Well, he started his career in 85 to 92, he's with LA Rams. 93 to 95, Pittsburgh Steelers. 96, Panthers. 97, the 49ers. 98 to 99, he was part of the Carolina Panthers again. And as a coach, he was Green Bay Packers coach from 2009-2013. And he currently is the New York Jets coach.
Oh, wow. So he's still working. So that's good. And Kevin Green is going to try his hand at professional wrestling. Of course, he was originally going to team up with Goldberg. Then Goldberg won the world title. And we'll see what Green brings. And, okay, yeah, I hate him. I hate him. Not just because of his look. We'll see what happens. He's got long hair here.
Well, you know, this isn't his first match. I mean, you know, in May 97, he teamed with Piper and Flair to take on the NWA team of Nash, Hall and Six. He made a final return teaming with Goldberg in mid-98.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to see this one. And I literally thought in the opening video that was fucking Hogan. Like a younger Hogan. He has got that look about him. Even though he might not be tall. And
I thought he was like a... I don't want to say it, James.
And the Giant here, his eyes mean business.
Mojo Rawley.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of America. Well, my problem with Mojo is not American football players, right? It's the whole character of Mojo Rawley I despise and how bad he is as well. It's like Goldberg's a former football player, but I haven't got a problem with him. So we'll see what Kevin Green has to offer. I like Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow at WrestleMania 11. Don't get me wrong. Football player again.
Wasn't there a battle royal as well with some footballers?
There was WrestleMania 2. NFL there. And now Kevin Green punching a Giant. It just annoys him. The Big Show. Been on top with the rest of the world. Now he's having to wrestle Kevin Green. Do you think that's why he's getting annoyed? Do you think he's already told Bischoff that? Look, I'm not getting punished, but being used in this way. I think.
Do you know why Kevin Green actually stopped wrestling?
Why?
Because NFL contracts entered a no wrestling clause into him.
Really?
So he gave up, yeah.
That is interesting.
Well, the Giant climbing back in over the top rope. Kevin Green very intelligently kicking the rope, crutching the Big Show or crutching the Giant on top, and now he's just bouncing on the ropes, causing more damage to the Big Show's dong. Second match and a second reference to dong.
We've got cocks in our mouths, dicks in our brains, and Kevin Green knocking down the Giant. Giant push him away. This is basic, and now bear hug.
Squeezing the life out of Green. Slamming him to the mat. And now he's got one pissed off Giant to deal with.
Now the Giant, the biggest man in professional wrestling. Elbow drop. Squashing Mr. Green. Well, I'll tell you what, in a minute it'll be Mr. Brown if the Giant has his way with him.
Now the Giant just toying with his food now. He's got him under the bottom rope and he's just standing on it, choking out.
You can see all the shortcuts that they're doing in this match. I mean, that move didn't really fucking touch him there. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got no support. It's meant to be Green's job to do that. The way he slammed him down there just kept hold of him. It's nice by the Giant. At least he can be safe.
Oh yeah, there's one thing you can say about the Giant, but he's definitely safe.
I don't have many injuries, yeah, even with a Big Show. And now he's...
Who's the Big Show?
I don't know why I said that. Just in case people are like, who the fuck are you talking about?
He doesn't exist.
Yeah, not yet.
We're not talking about the Giant Gonzalez.
And he's slamming down Kevin Green.
The Big Show's 26 years old at this point.
26 years old. In his prime. And he's smoking and putting on a bit of weight.
Is that Kevin Green?
Huh?
Let me have a look at the Big Show's age.
Kevin Green's 26 at this age.
Oh, Kevin Green.
Kevin Green's 26. Still in his prime. He's Kevin Green.
Big Show's 26.
Fucking hell,
He's
right.
46 now.
Who is?
Big Show.
So the Big Show's 26 as this is happening. In his prime as a wrestler. Going against Kevin Green. Who at this point in time is So 35 at this point. So 9 years experience Kevin Green has, and Giant tried to dump him out. Green hung him up on the top rope.
Going to the midsection.
And now he's not going to try and... I thought he was going to try and springboard in. Right hand, but he's met with a Giant.
Oh, but he gets caught with a giant headbutt.
Knocked all the way down. And he's in serious trouble.
Paul Donald White. It's just Boris.
And now the Giant... He's got Kevin Green as the referee counts, but I don't think he cares about this.
Looking to bounce Green's head off the barricade, but Green blocks it. And a second. Oh, and bounces Big Show's head off the barricade. Sorry, Paul White. Nope, Giant.
Well, he's getting beaten from pillar to post by Mr. Green. Sends him head first. Back into the ring post. Nick Patrick can't do anything but count. Oh, my word.
The Big Show who's just like pushing him away.
That's how strong the Giant is. Just one blow. Now Kevin Green scouting him.
Green's going up top.
Here comes Green.
Oh, flying forearm there. Takes down the Giant.
Well, he's celebrating before he gets the pin, which might be a little bit of a mistake.
You don't want to do no premature celebration.
And now he's taking a shit. Oh, no. There we go. Go for the cover. No.
And the Big Show just tosses him off.
Now the Giant back to his feet. Here comes Green.
Oh, goes low with a tackle on the Giant's left knee.
No,
that's how you get a big tree down, though. You chop it from the base.
Yeah, he's targeting that with the kicks. Giant struggling to stand. Another forearm banner.
3-point stance, go on.
And here comes Kevin Green, 3-point stance.
Mojo Styley.
Mongo Styley. Giant catches him. This is what should happen to anybody that ever tries that move. Giant catches him. Giant choke slam. Bam!
Boom. A very protective Giant choke slam.
Good night,
2,
Kevin Green.
3.
Over and done. Very nice by the Giant there. More competitive than it should have been. Yes, Kevin is green, but still not a bad attraction for what it was. Giant gets a win, and rightly so. Enough. Too many times when a star from another sport comes over and always gets a victory. It's nice to see the Giant getting a pin, even though his better days in WCW are probably behind him now.
Well, again, for a gimmick match, it wasn't terrible. I think, it kind of made the Giant look a bit weak, losing to someone who's wrestled probably, 2 or 3 matches before in his time. And, someone who's billed as a Giant, how can you take him seriously after that? I think, he'd need to join another company and completely change his name, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely see what you're saying there. It was a difficult position for the Giant to be in. We'll see what happens as we move on. But again, 6 matches in, and I've not had anything that I've really been unhappy with. I think everything's been acceptable, hasn't it?
Well, at least the Giant hasn't lost to like a professional boxer or something.
No, that would be too embarrassing. Well, we see Curt Henning backstage.
Or a famous sumo wrestler.
Well, famous. Yeah, exactly, yeah. We see Curt Henning backstage, and of course, with...
You've forgotten the names you made up.
I've forgotten the names I made up. Alongside Chief J Strongbow, and of course... Who can forget Todd Pettengill? So we move on and we see highlights of Booker T versus Dean Malenko with Chris Jericho getting involved. We know the hatred Jericho and Malenko have. Malenko was next in line for a title. Well, let's go back to May. Let's go back even further than that. Jericho beat Malenko for the WCW Cruiserweight title. Malenko walked away, said he didn't want anything to happen, didn't want anything else in his career. That was him done. Jericho would go on to mock everybody else who got in his way as Cruiserweight champion, leading into Slamboree, where a battle royal would take place to determine who would be number 1 contender. It came down to 2 guys, Hoovy Toon and the Masked Wrestler. Hoovy jumped over the rope, and we revealed the Masked Wrestler was indeed Dean Malenko, who then went on to beat Chris Jericho that night for the Cruiserweight title. Also a reef, because Jericho complaining and going to the law people and get laws involved made JJ Dillon have no choice but to strip Malenko of the Cruiserweight title and have it vacant. But that wasn't it, because then JJ said Dean Malenko would have a match with Chris Jericho at Bash at the Beach as long as he didn't put his hands on Jericho. But Chris, being, well, the way he is, pissed off Dean Malenko so much with insults about his family, Malenko snapped and punched Chris Jericho, leading to Malenko not being there. What would they do instead? Well, luckily for WCW, Rey Mysterio has just returned for injury. A man Jericho's beaten already for the Cruiserweight title to take his place. So it should be great. It's a no disqualification match like the Malenko-Jericho match was, but now it's going to be Mysterio, Jericho, Cruiserweight title. So we see the video replay from Raw and what happened in Georgia with Malenko losing his shit and not only getting his title opportunity taken away, but beating up Jericho, ripping his hair out. It's definitely a different side to the Iceman, but now we're going to see Rey Mysterio back, and it's going to be good to see Mysterio. We've missed him over these past few months, haven't we, Dan?
We have indeed, yes. We do like a bit of Rey Mysterio, especially when he's in his prime.
We're going to think before too many injuries and the way he could move. It was so exciting. But we're going to see Jericho first, and, well, he's got a top hat and cane, but he's smirking.
No, James. He hasn't got his cigarette in his gob, he's just got a smile on his face.
And he's got a top hat and cane. He's coming out. He's going to maybe do a little bit of dance.
Kane! It's Kane!
He's got a walking cane! Oh, JJ Dillon stopping Jericho from doing his little dance. Come on, JJ, sort it out, mate. Fair play, JJ Dillon, realising that he's in the wrong. He said he'd defend the title, but nothing he can do about it. Oh, Jericho's saying, there's a guy who hasn't wrestled in 6 months. What's come down here? He'll take that. Who could it possibly be? Jericho is just so entertaining right now. So, yeah, bring the kid out. I'll take him to a different level. I'll get the job done. So cocky, so arrogant. So here we go, and oh my God. And the fans on their feet, and Jericho in shock as well. It's the return of Rey Mysterio. And he's rubbing his hands in glee. He has got the knee brace on. That's the injury Jericho did 6 months ago. But what a shock. Malenko out. Mysterio, and that is it.
That is indeed, yeah. It's a good way of bringing back a wrestler. No one even knew it.
And Jericho being so clever there, and the kind of cockiness of saying, yeah, I'll take on anybody. And now it's come back to bite him with Mysterio. And here we go. Jericho swings with a cane, misses. Mysterio with the forearms. Irish whip across to Jericho.
High back body drop from Rey.
And Rey looks in great shape. Drop back onto the rope. And Mysterio, like we talked about, so great he's back. We've missed the kind of just how quick he is in the ring. He can do things that no other wrestler can do.
On baseball slides, trips Jericho. Springboards over the top rope. Leg drop to the back of Jericho's head.
And from anywhere in the ring can get you down, as you see there. Goes for the cover. Jericho kicks out. Gets out of harm's way. This, of course, is still no disqualification. Again, Jericho.
Didn't Rey lose his mask? Or hasn't he?
No, not yet, no. And now Rey's chasing after Jericho.
Oh, loses that against Nash, didn't he?
Yeah, Hoovy lost his mask recently. And now Mysterio chasing down Jericho. Using the ring post. Nearly missing out then.
Swing around the ring post, catching him with a head scissors takedown.
Sends him into barricade, and Jericho doesn't know where he is. Getting back in now.
Kick to the midsection and a knife edge like chop from Rey.
And Jericho there, great. Holding on to the top rope and then targeting the bad leg. And Jericho will know exactly where the injury is because he caused it. Well, that was maybe 2 minutes. Rey Mysterio was on top, and now it's Jericho bearing down on him. Responding with chops in the corner. Oh, he gets that leg. He gets a leg, puts on that second rope, and then kicks it down. And you got to wonder how damaged that knee will be. And he recently repaired, and oh my word.
Jericho going flying head first into the top turnbuckle, sending him all the way to the outside.
And I thought he was going to try and sting a splash Mysterio to dodge. And now Jericho not having it. He looks like he's going to walk away. But Mysterio following him.
Oh, there's no disqualification here.
Jericho the back elbow. Now he's trying to climb the set to get away. And they're climbing the tower. Oh! And Jericho there must have fallen at least 10 feet there.
At least 15 to 20 foot.
Right on the sand, and Mysterio going up. Well, you don't see that often. Off a 10-foot platform, Mysterio, Hurricane Rana and Jericho onto the sand. Both been covered. Oh.
Sand into the eyes of Jericho.
And it's payback for Mysterio. And up top, back in the ring now.
Jericho rolls through though, cover on Mysterio, but Rey managing to kick out.
Oh. Big crossbody block there by Mysterio. Now Jericho's got Rey Picks him up on that top turnbuckle. Now Jericho going up with Rey. Oh, Mysterio holding on though. No. Oh my God.
It's like a scoop slam off the top.
Well, huge impact there. Yeah, scoop power slam. All the way off the top to the mat below. And Mysterio might be out. And Jericho is going to put an exclamation point on it with a chair.
He's going to target that bad knee.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's all legal here. And now the leg caught up in that chair, and this is bad. And now Jericho going up. And this could be the end of Rey Mysterio's career. Oh,
Jericho just managing to get out, Mysterio just managing to get out of the way. And I think Jericho pulled the padding down off his right knee to get extra impact onto that.
And it come back to haunt him because he hit the chair. Now Mysterio's got the chair right on that bad leg of Jericho's now. The turnabout's fair play. Oh!
Mysterio with a running drop kick on that chair into Jericho's right knee.
And Jericho might not be able to stand now, but he reverses the Irish whip on one leg. Oh!
Guys, popping up Rey Mysterio, but he gets caught with an X Factor instead.
And now Mysterio on the apron, springboarded in. Trying to
caught by Jericho.
Yeah, trying to Hurricane Runner, and now Jericho's got him. Trying to hit him with a line tamer.
Mysterio's fighting out of it.
Well, he's holding on to that leg, make sure he can't get turned.
Manages to make his way to the bottom rope.
And Jericho's going to get a line tamer again. And oh my way, here comes Dean Malenko. Well, it's no DQ, so he's got a right to be out here. But Jericho going for line tamer, gets folded up. New Cruiserweight champion, Rey Mysterio. Thanks to Dean Malenko, Jericho took his eye off the ball, and now he's getting chased down with one leg and all by the Iceman. So Jericho doesn't care about losing the Cruiserweight Championship, and he just wants to go for Dean Malenko. It's no longer about the titles, and Arn Anderson stopping Jericho. And now it's Dean Malenko on the attack. And it's not been a great night for Jericho now.
After losing his title, he's now getting beaten down by Malenko.
Well, sent into the side of that truck. And Mysterio is Cruiserweight champion. That's a reversing the line tamer. So what a return it is for Rey. 6 months out and now new Cruiserweight champion. And Jericho, not only, but he's getting his ass whooped by Dean Malenko. So he's coming back to haunt him. Everything that he's done. I think fucking brilliant, Dan. What do you think of that match?
Yeah, it was really well played out. Really, brilliantly worked. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of spots in that I was really, really impressed with. Especially when he used the set as to kind of, you know what I mean, to do the Hurricane Runner off the top there by Mysterio. Showcase he's kind of high risk and what it's all about. For me, again, too short. But still, I think with Malenko involvement there, Jericho didn't, as a heel, to not really lose it as clean and kind of more of an upset. Jericho then can complain about that. I think Malenko's shown definitely a different side to him, more aggressive nature, and I think the future's bright for all three men here. I think Malenko shows real fire here, and I think there's real potential in WWE for him, and maybe elsewhere if they want to get behind him.
Oh, that lovely NWO music.
The problem is with Dean Malenko, we talk about personality. He's showing personality here, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's showing that fire under him. He's had enough of Jericho mocking his family, mocking everybody like that, and he's going to cost Jericho everything that he can now, and I think that's a different side that we're seeing. But yeah, dreaded NWO music. We're going to get Bret Hart coming out here, and he wants to get that TV title. It's one of the matches I've been really looking forward to seeing as well, because again, we talked about Bret Hart in WWE, what he should do. He should face younger wrestlers, and we've seen him face Benoit. That was a cracking match, so hopefully someone like Booker T will be really good as well, and the potential there for Eddie Guerrero. People we've already seen, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko, will all have great matches with Bret, and the fans really get behind Booker. And why wouldn't they? We've seen his journey, he's television champion, losing it all and then fighting back with that series with Benoit to become TV champion again over Fit Finlay. And it's good that he can reward him with a match against Bret on pay-per-view, isn't it,
Indeed, yes.
People assume that to WWE or whatever it was, or maybe he's not faced any main event talent. We've proven now, 20 years ago, he's going to get someone like Bret Hart in WCW. And Bret still is the best of his, best there was, the best there ever will be. I guess a part of the black and white. So here we go, bell rings with Booker versus... I tell you what, they came out here ever so quickly, didn't they? No real build-up for these as well,
No.
but it should be great, though. Like I say, Bret's technical style versus Booker, and Booker's kind of natural push again. WWE didn't build any stars. Well, with Booker T, you got to say there is one there, as he pushes Bret Hart, and Bret's saying, come on, let's just wrestle now. He's saying, is this the best you got, WCW? Right, fine, he'll wrestle it. Well, Booker pushes Bret Hart, and the match is underway as Booker wants the crowd to get behind him. Bret's going to take it slow, like I said, veteran instincts that he's got. Colorado retire, Booker, and the go behind, snaps down Bret. Going to try and show that he can wrestle, but like we said, Bret, from the famed Hart family dungeon, knows how to escape. And of course, Booker T from the mean streets of Harlem. And Booker gets hit with a big right hand by Bret. Gets rocked, and then Bret's problem's more with the crowd than I think anybody else.
Yeah.
He's all staring off, giving them shit.
That's part of being a heel, though. I don't think Bret's quite used to being a heel, is he?
No, that's what we talked about, the kind of the mannerisms and even the way he wrestles. Not really there yet, but at least he's getting more screen time than he was. So don't forget,
indeed,
you know,
yeah.
like
It's the most we've seen him wrestle in ages.
a month after his the Montreal screw job, he gets mentioned once, and then his match in like December. So we're seeing more of him now. Bret tried to out-wrestle Booker, but got caught with a big right hand.
And a tussle between the two guys. And a tussle between the two guys sends Bret Hart over the top.
Well,
Just reversal after reversal after reversal, and Booker T finally getting the upper hand.
Well, that was brilliant. That's what each man can bring to their game, and Bret bring the younger Booker in it and get sent into barricade. And Booker T's this main loyal to WCW. Oh!
But Bret hanging up Booker over barricade.
Now Bret's going to try and slow big right hand Booker. That guy, what a mullet. Now Bret throwing Booker T in. And the thing about Bret Hart as well, he's still a main eventer. He's still a star. It's just the WCW way of booking him. They've lessened it so. And it's something WWE has a kind of knack of doing, of knocking the star down and making him seem less special. But there's definitely dream matches on the card for Bret Hart to do. And the Irish whip to Booker T. Back elbows him down. A huge headbutt to the midsection by Bret. What's up, my love? Going through the motions at the moment.
And he's trying to soften up Booker T, but gets caught. Oh, spine buster from Booker. Rolls through with a cover. Two. Oh, but Bret managing to kick out.
And that was nice by Booker. He's probably got a speed advantage, but Bret nips up.
Clotheslines Booker, eliminates him from the Rumble.
And now Bret taunting the crowd. We've seen the wars Booker's had with Benoit recently, and Bret's taken a different approach to it. I'll say Bret, 5-time WWF champion at this point, been there, done that. Sends Booker into barricade. And now the stairs exposed, but you don't want them.
No, he's doing the same as what he done to Benoit, driving him middle of the back first into the ring post.
Let's not forget, soften him up for the dreaded sharpshooter. Of course, he beat Bret Hart. He beat Benoit by submission, shall we say, on Nitro.
I should have checked his pants really before this match.
Yeah. And Stevie Ray not out here either to help Booker. And Bret just throws him in.
Drops a leg across the throat.
Now Bret got Booker.
Backbreaker.
That was lovely by Bret. Up to the second now. Big elbow to the face. Go for the cover. But Booker kicks out. Now Bret maybe getting a little bit frustrated. You know, this is testing the waters.
Even though he's a great technician, you can definitely see Bret's, still stuck in the early 90s.
The thing is with Bret, and the thing I like about it, the Russian leg sweep there by Bret, is that he became, I feel, the modern day wrestler in some respects. Like, his moveset and the way he does is very similar today. Now, I know, like you say, the way he moves is slow, but if you think about the 5 or 6 signatures that he's got, nowadays each wrestler's got their own signature moves, and Bret had that before anybody. It was the 3 or 4 moves before the sharpshooter.
It's not taking that away from him. I mean, it's his moves, he does them well, but they're very simplistic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the side Russian leg sweep. Everyone does things like that. It's if you watch the way he technically goes about things, he's not doing anything that I would say is overly technical for any wrestler nowadays.
Well, no, but I think it's the different kind of challenge for Bret. It would be nice to see him in a kind of mat wrestling game. Do you know what I mean? And see something like that. against someone like a Kurt Angle, maybe bring out that side of him. I mean, in the ring, the most dangerous thing Bret ever did probably was the chest to the turnbuckle, that kind of impact that had there. Yeah. But I think with Bret, I think there's a lot of wrestlers, and I think the way WWE have gone their way now, I think it's Bret Hart's kind of moveset that they do follow. And I think it's even though it's not as hard hitting or whether it is, it's a safe style that's still exciting. But Booker rolls up Bret somehow kicking out, and after being controlled throughout the whole match, nearly got
knee to the midsection, kick to the chest, spinning heel kick from Booker.
Well, Bret got caught a couple of times there, and now can Booker capitalise? Hits him in the midsection. Here he comes.
Next kick, bang, hits its mark.
And Bret may be out here. Booker back to his feet. Booker T Irish rips Bret.
One man flapjack. Booker spinneroon is his way up to a vertical base.
And now Booker raising the roof. He's going to go up. He's going to be looking for the missile drop kick. And he hits it. He's going to go for the cover. This is it.
1, 2. Oh, but Bret with his ring awareness. Foot to the bottom rope. And now Bret's doing a Craig David and he's walking away.
Yeah, he's got the chair. Oh!
Bang. Chair to the back of Booker as he was flying out of a suicide dive.
Well, maybe Bret thought Booker was going to beat him, so he took the easy way out, and this is just an assault now with a chair. Come on, miss. And Booker in serious trouble on the outside. I was really enjoying that match up until the end. And now Bret's still on the assault of Booker. And Stevie Ray's not out here to save him. No one's out here at the moment. Chair after chair. Well, Booker's still television champion, but he's getting his ass whipped at this moment in time. I mean, not a bad match between the two. I could have seen a lot longer. I think they're saving it for something else. It's nice that Booker can get the rub against Bret, but I mean, this assault afterwards, this is bad. When Bret's still not finished.
Yeah, this match definitely left you wanting more.
Well, I think we're going to get it now with Bret with a figure 4. To Booker. Oh, this is sickening. This is horrible. No one likes to see this. Oh, stop it. Stop it.
Oh, just stop it.
Stop it. So fucking finally Stevie Ray shows up. Well, thank God for that. Bret only had him in the figure 4 for fucking 5 minutes. And now Steve Ray looking on. Took his sweet ass time as well. Maybe he's not happy with Booker T. And he's getting in now. Slowly does it. Big Stevie Ray. Going to help his brother back to his feet. And that's nice to see. Doctor nonchalantly just walks along. Yeah, he seems right. Now Stevie and the referee going to carry Booker out. And to my reckoning, we've only got 2 matches left. And we've got a huge WCW World title match coming. Goldberg versus Henning World Heavyweight title. And this is the match. Henning's been calling out Goldberg a number of weeks, saying he's going to end the streak. Of course, you all know what happened on Monday on Nitro. Bill Goldberg answering the challenge of NWO Hollywood. As we know, Goldberg ran through Scott Hall.
Quite literally with that spear.
Yeah. And then jacked him up, hammered him down for the victory to face Hulk Hogan for the world title. And, well, what did he do in that one, Dan?
Well, James, despite Hogan giving it his best attempt and getting in a lot more effort, getting in a lot more offense than he should have done, he done the gracious thing and dropped the title to Goldberg.
So now we got Goldberg versus Henning. A bit rushed, I know, but they've done it, so they've got to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is the World Heavyweight Champion and US Champion, so how are they going to sort that out? But we'll see what happens here tonight.
The US and World Heavyweight Champion.
And it's what the fans want.
Doesn't he relinquish a US title?
Well, we'll find out, won't we, when we'll see it on Nitro. And we get Michael Buffer.
And that dreaded NWO music.
I thought Curt Henning was Wolfpack.
No, he's black and white.
Well, he's coming out now to NWO music and he's got a Goldberg t-shirt.
No, he's part of the black and white. Who's next? And he's put a sticker underneath saying Goldberg.
Well, Henning's turned Wolfpack. I don't know where Rick Rude is anyway. That must have happened on Thunder. But he's out here. Can he take the WCW title home? Hand it back to Hogan. What do you think of Curt Henning? Have we talked about him much? I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, the match won't last long.
I thought he was a great wrestler back in his time. But, you know, again, I think he's on the downward slope.
Yeah, here he definitely is, with the injury. But we've seen a couple of really great Mr. Perfect matches, haven't we, against Bret Hart and co. And, people like Dolph Ziggler always get kind of mentioned to him. I think one of these things, I think he's a great worker, but a lot of his stories backstage as well that you hear, a lot of his jokes that he's made. And I might have a couple for if we ever do a controversial characters again. I mean, there's one time I think he shit in a bucket and left it underneath the ring. But a lot of stories that kind of make you quite like Curt Henning, And as a wrestler, I think Mr. Perfect gimmick was good, and Curt Henning maybe couldn't get past that. But speaking of a character, here comes Goldberg.
I think a lot of that Goldberg's piped in with his theme,
You reckon it is?
Yeah.
They're not chanting, are they?
Well, none of their lips are moving, yet you hear Goldberg.
Well, here he comes, and he's ready for action.
He's not wearing the US title, he's only wearing the fucking huge gold belt.
Big gold belt. Well done, Goldberg. He smells like smoke. Do you know why? Because he's been through fire, and tonight he's looking to win Curt Henning.
Oh, we've seen him, he's busted open on his head. We don't see his full entrance just yet.
Well, we got it against Hogan, but like I said, that was a big match feel. But with Goldberg blowing out the smoke, he hasn't got his kicks and punches yet, has he, to all the fireworks? But he's getting there, is Goldberg. And what a journey since his debut. We followed, like I say, his debut match all the way through. It's always nice to go against the guy he hasn't faced yet.
Oh, indeed, especially someone who could potentially carry him a bit as well.
Yeah, hopefully this is Goldberg's best match.
The NWO WCW Heavyweight Champion of the World.
They've changed the name, even the branding for the pay-per-view NWO. It's like it's taking a step back rather than trying to move on from it. It's become all about it in a way, And it's like focus on stuff that we've seen. The first 8 matches, well, even this is the 9th one now, have all been good. Down with kind of Hogan and Black and White. It's only been negative thing about it so far.
Well, the bell's rung.
And this will be a really interesting matchup. Like I say, Henning, the veteran here. I mean, Goldberg can only been wrestling 8-9 months at this time. But he is heavyweight champion.
Well, let's not forget that.
No.
Side headlock from Goldberg, though. Henning's trying to fight out. Shoulder block just turning Henning inside out. Arm drag takedown.
Well, Henning's trying to sell for him, even though he's got the injury. Now, Henning thinks he can come up with a game. Henning thinks he can come up with a perfect game plan to stop Goldberg here tonight.
Mister.
Well, let me tell you something, mister. No. And now Henning with a chop.
And Goldberg just shaking it off, gets pie-faced into the corner. Henning with a few more chops. Irish whip reversed by Goldberg. Takes him down with the body scissors.
I think that just winds Goldberg up when you try and chop him. It adds to his adrenaline and the anger.
Yeah.
And heading to the outside, getting rid of his hair bubble. That's not going to help him now.
That's slowing him down.
Well, that's what he's got to do. Take his time. Goldberg's matches are over so quickly. Take to the outside. Let the match breathe.
Well, Goldberg don't want to let him breathe. He drags him in by his hair, throws him into the corner. Irish whip sends Curt Henning back to the corner, but as Goldberg charges in, Kurt's lifted his feet for a second time as well. Goldberg trying to shake it off.
And now Henning is going to go up, but Goldberg laying in wait.
Saves Goldberg, lifting him up.
Oh!
And just power slams him down.
After carrying with a gorilla press. Very impressive there by Goldberg. You can tell just the kind of sheer strength that he has. And I think that's impressive as well. You got to use it right, don't get me wrong. But that just kind of knack of having it.
Well, intelligence from Hennig takes the leg out.
Oh, this is a great idea. Goldberg got caught there. And you can't hit the spear with a jackhammer if he's laying down.
Looking over that left leg of Goldberg.
Well, you would say out of everything with Goldberg, maybe his legs being smaller than any other part of his body. Maybe there's a weak point there.
But don't forget he's a former NFL footballer. Their strength is basically in their quads.
Well, it's the quad there, but I think, I would try and focus maybe on the calf and try and get that bent out of the way, but it's going to be a difficult task for Henning. But he has got Goldberg down, and the fans definitely not happy about that.
The Goldberg rolls through with a leg whip, heading straight to the bottom rope though.
Oh, and Henning with a clothesline hits Goldberg in the top of the head to you. Now maybe the heading plex. What's that, my love? Hits it. 1, 2, we got a new champion. Oh.
Goldberg managing to kick out.
Oh.
Up again and just like a clothesline, but it's kind of more of a takedown as well.
Well, that's the closest Goldberg's come to lose the WWE. Well, to losing. Oh my God.
And he just spears straight through Henning in response to that perfect plex or Henning plex.
And Henning is down. Is he out? What happens next?
Well, James, he's going to jack him up.
Oh, my God.
And hammer him down. 1,
2,
2, 3.
Well, 112 and 0. The World Heavyweight Champion of the World. Who is going to beat him? I honestly can't see anybody at this moment in time. That was it. I tell you what, if anybody has never seen Goldberg before, I probably might show him that match and just be like, this is exactly what he does. Yeah, a little bit of punishment, not a lot. I mean, Henning did all right. I could have done a little bit longer, but then it's like, jackhammer, job done. Why do people get excited? Because there was nothing like this with Goldberg. And yeah, of course, there's limitations to the character, but when it works, it works. And we saw that with Asuka when she was on an undefeated streak as well. The kind of magic, and it kind of fades a little bit. Of course it does. But with Goldberg at the moment, he is on fire, baby. What do you think of the match?
Again, it's a perfect defence. I think it's a great defence going against someone the calibre of Henning, who could potentially carry Goldberg a bit and, try and draw a better match out of him.
I think that shallow it out, and this is what they should be doing. Where he should be World Heavyweight Champion now and doing it rather than being US Champion and working towards that big match for the world title is another discussion, But as champion, now you've got to make sure he's the man and have the challenges there that don't make him look weak, but actually add to it a lot like Henning has done. So,
you're arguing whether he should have made it up to the main wrestlers, so to speak. He's faced probably about 5 or 6 top wrestlers, and going away from his 112 record, that's like 106. Probably, we average it out about 80 wrestlers he's gone through that are mid card. So that I doubt there is many left that he could legitimately go through to try and bolster his numbers.
I think that you could do rather than you could do Goldberg every week, but how many NWO members are there? How many black and white? Work through each of them so they no longer part of the NWO and you get rid of it that way, or do if you want to do the Wolf Pack, have them go through them so then you're only left with 2 or 3 guys, and then it's like, shit, we got to get Goldberg now. And do it that way until Starrcade there is only kind of one guy left, and that's Hogan because everybody else is taken out by Goldberg. But
I think, again, they rushed it a bit, due to the ratings.
But the thing is, because they've done it, though, but they have to deal with it now. They've made that decision. Now they've got to have a long-term plan. Do you know what I mean?
They've got to run with it.
Now they've got to put something in position and go, right, okay, Starrcade then, we're going to build someone up so you think he is going to beat Goldberg. Right, and then have Goldberg continue. There's nothing wrong with a streak at this moment in time. Fans aren't getting bored of it. It's the most over thing on WCW. Do you know what I mean? It's only the boys in the back, maybe, who have got a problem with it and saying, oh, this Goldberg can't work. Because the fans don't give a fuck. Yeah, they might pipe in the sound, but if I can watch it from 20 years on and still be as excited as the day it happened, then that tells you something about this sheer kind of excitement of Goldberg. And that is basically it for the pay-per-view now, everybody. I think that's the best we're going to get.
Yeah, if you want to turn off your pay-per-view now, I wouldn't blame you.
No, and I think it would get a very, very strong rating as well. Pay-per-view. We get Michael Buffer with the entrance. This might be match of the night. We don't know. It might be match of the night. It might come through. It's Karl Malone and DDP versus Hogan and Dennis Rodman. And I'll tell you how this all came. I'll tell you how all this came about. Hogan wanted it to happen, and it did. Isn't that amazing? Oh, God.
NW.
I think this is the one where Dennis Rodman falls asleep on a turnbuckle. I think it is.
Well, Hogan's not playing his belt tar.
So this is a month after he played against him in the NBA Finals, which I guess was good. Malone was friends with DDP, and Bishop wanted Randy Savage team partner. He said, I got this idea. DDP said, I got an idea. Me and Malone against Rodman and Hogan. Bishop thought about it and went, wow, Hogan and Rodman versus Savage and Malone. I said, maybe you didn't hear me. He said, I want it to be me. 23-minute match. Hogan wanted it to go 40 minutes. Originally. My God, Rodman was sluggish and at times barely conscious, apparently. And Dean Malenko's note that Rodman was only one of the few people to fall asleep during the match. So apparently they were drinking heavily before it started. So, I mean, this should be great. But look at the press at ringside. They want to see it. It's the two guys who are in their prime at the moment in basketball, and they're going to wrestle. Hogan's nowhere near his prime. I'm not going to go there. So here comes DDP. Alright, so as they come out, let's run through the rest of the card then, and we'll do our ratings down. So match 1, Raven versus Saturn. What were your thoughts and your rating? Well, DDP's out here and Karl Malone finally joins him. And he's dressed just like DDP. There is no difference between the two. Karl the mailman Malone, because he always delivers, and they come into the ring and they scare off Hogan and Rodman. Yeah, everything all prepared. That was nice.
Sorry, yes. First match, Raven versus Saturn. I gave that... I thought it was a crap ending, personally, but I gave that a 3.5 because it was a good start, and I was actually starting to get into the match.
Yeah, I mean, the bump Saturn took off the turnbuckle. Not through both tables, because he missed, but still enjoyed. He still enjoyed. And I didn't mind the ending to that. It was just Raven Fox getting involved. But yeah, that was 3.5 out of 5 for me. I thought, great way to start. And then we moved on to the Cruiserweights, Juve versus Kidman. And it continued the trend of a great match. Where we've seen hardcore in the first one, is more Cruiserweight and higher flying style, which I think is really, really enjoyable, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I thought it was a very exciting match. These two guys had a lot of chemistry together. I gave that a 3.75.
I was going to do that, and then I gave it a 4 out of 5 instead. Because I thought, no, it deserves it. Come on now. I mean, the level of what we saw, even though it was a little bit shorter than I would have hoped, still enjoyable. Like I say, 450 and Shooting Star is impressive on pay-per-view 1998. Match 3, Stevie Ray versus Chavito.
Yes, well, it was a very short match. It was won by a submission due to a handshake. I gave that a 3 still because I thought it was very clever.
Yeah, no.
And it kind of adapted to the storyline, and it played part and parcel, and especially towards the ending of the next match, it kind of made a bit of sense.
Yeah, exactly that. Storyline-wise, is brilliant. 3 out of 5 for me as well, because it did what it did, and we weren't expecting that, And then leading on to match 4, Eddie versus Chavo, hair versus hair.
I thought these two guys had absolutely... Oh, what was your rating for the Steve v Chavo?
3 out of 5.
All right. I thought these guys had absolutely brilliant chemistry. You can tell they've wrestled each other multiple times, but they just didn't miss a beat. It was bang, 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 one move after another. And, yeah, I just thought it was absolutely perfect between these two guys. Yeah,
no, I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, obviously the chemistry was on point, and the comedy in it, as well as the seriousness, you could switch sides and see that. And Chavo's really selling the fact that he's loco a little bit, and even Eddie's selling of the fact of that, of looking at him and going, oh, actually, no, shit, I've gone too far here with Chavo. He's telling a great story. So, yeah, what was your rating for that?
I gave that a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I gave that a 4 out of 5, but now I'm thinking about it, I might up that a little bit now. Yeah, I'll give that a 4.25. Nice and easy. Oh, wait a minute. The bell's finally rang in this match. And after all the posturing, we're going to get Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone starting. You can feel the excitement in the crowd. Let's just focus on this for a second here. This is going to be off the wall. Rodman's going to take off his sunglasses. No, he's not.
Hogan's going to take them off for him.
That's how bright his future is. He has to wear shades indoors. And he's going to face down with Karl Malone.
The mailman who always delivers.
And Karl Malone's not alone. He's got DDP in his corner.
And Rodman taking some leaves out of Hogan's book there and ducking between the ropes, saying, clean break, please, clean break.
I mean, I don't know what the equivalent would be. Would it be Harry Kane versus Lukaku? Do you know what I mean, in a match? And you're right, nothing's happened yet. But it's all about the spectacle. So the 1980s main event. It's like WrestleMania.
Oh, Karl Malone looking for a test of strength. Is Rodman going for it? Malone just slaps Rodman's hand away. There's a lot going on, but fuck all happening.
Oh, Malone. Oh, we're going to get Hogan. No, he's not.
Oh, DDP's going to get Rodman. Nah.
And now,
why is Hogan calling Malone a chicken when it's Rodman that's backing away?
He didn't want to test the strength, though, did he? He slaps away the hand, so maybe that Rodzilla is Roddy for action. Colella tie up, and Rodman's got the side headlock. Rodman has got the side headlock. Malone pushing away. Rodman out. My God. That is fantastic there. Dennis Rodman getting out of harm's way. Hogan now seeing him there. I've seen some classic encounters in my time. But Malone and Rodman is up there. Rock Austin. Hogan, Andre the Giant. The irresistible force meeting the immovable object. And a disciple at ringside. How can this get any better? Rodman's slowly going to get back in. And now Malone gesticulating for the diamond cutter. And here comes Hogan. So match 5 was Conan versus Disco Inferno. I thought this was fun. It was harmless. It was over before it became offensive. Alex Wright being involved made me laugh, and him being torture racked on the outside, even though Luke struggled, was funny. Nash, I don't know why they're involved with this though. Nash Jackknife, why when they're kind of lower mid cards are the Wolfpack doing this?
And they're meant to be faces as well.
I know, so it doesn't really make sense. But I still go that 3 out of 5.
I gave that a 2.5 out of 5. I just thought it was nothing special. And, this is coming from someone who's more of a Conan fan.
I know. I mean, but for some reason, I know the Wolfpack, but they were different. And, again, they should have focused on that rather than harping back to the same thing. We've got Malone and Hogan. They finally, after a couple of minutes, tied up. And now Malone's got Hogan in all sorts of trouble. Then match 6, we're talking about unprofessional professionals. Kevin Green against the Giant. I mean, Hogan should have cloned Kevin Green, shouldn't he? And been like, I can use you, brother.
He should have done, as Hogan's younger brother. Brother. But I thought it was a very protected match. Again, nothing special happened. Nothing that kind of was like, oh, wow, that was a good match. So I gave that 2.5 again. Yeah, I gave that 3 out of 5. I think I was quite nice with my ratings here tonight. Malone just slammed Hogan. Malone slammed Hogan. It was heard around the world, but now he tags in Page. And I thought Page and Hogan would actually wrestle just then. And now Page wants Rodman. Yeah, now Rodman's getting in. Page gets Rodman. Well, he wants Rodman, gets him. See what happens. Wait a minute, let's just see them not tie up for 10 minutes first. Oh my God, collar and elbow tie up. And DDP gets the better of that exchange, pushes Rodman away. Hogan complaining about a hair pull. And Page just wants to bang him. Oh my, this match. Right, match 7 then. Yes, that was Mysterio versus Chris Jericho. And again... Oh fuck, I put Malenko. And again, it was very good storytelling between these two guys. It's kind of, again, a story that's coming full circle. Jericho was the man responsible for putting Mysterio out for a few months. And, he goaded Malenko into hitting him, obviously getting him suspended. And then Rey Mysterio comes back, makes his return. And thanks to a bit of help from Malenko's distraction, got the victory. Yeah. I think one of the things that is very underrated with WCW is that they always get the creative side and the way they tell stories. That WWE's kind of history looking back, saying they never really could do it. There's no really kind of great stories in WCW at this time. When you look at the main event talent and what was going on there, I feel that wasn't a creative process with people in control of their own destiny. It's a case of doing what they wanted to do. And that's why the stories weren't well told. When you look down the card, you look at Eddie versus Chavo and what happened there and how good it was. That was a great story. And then with Jericho and Mysterio, I think Jericho's Cruiserweight title reign has been the best story told throughout WCW this year. When you look at what he's done with Malenko walking away and him coming back, the injuries to Mysterio, the disrespect there, taking Hooven to... And even with Prince Iaukea taking, stuff away from him, and now finally getting the comeuppance in the way he did. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I think it's something that doesn't get enough recognition nowadays, 20 years on. That story on 205 Live now would probably be the best thing told on WWE TV because of the way they've gone about it, and it helps, obviously, with the talent of Jericho and Mysterio. I mean, I could have watched that go 20 to 25 minutes, but the way they told the story with Malenko's involvement opens
And it's just something that you want to see what happens next. You know, you want to turn into Nitro and go, right, let's see what the Cruiserweights are doing, rather than the kind of boring main events that they got.
Indeed, yes.
Right, in the match, Rodman's actually wrestling Page. I'm a bit surprised by that. I thought Rodman would get tagged out by now.
Yeah.
Page has taken him down a couple of times. all basic submissions, though, isn't it? There's nothing special here. The bumps are very low risk. It is just literally just rolls at the moment. No flat back bumps that I've seen. And there you go by Rodman. Oh my God! And then he broke his neck. Then leapfrog a couple of times. Tried a shoulder block, and then just his arm I think fell, and he went head first into Page. Page with a cover, but Dennis Rodman kicks out. And now here comes Karl Malone, and wouldn't you know, Rodman tags out. Well, Rodman's fucked now. He's like, no, that's me done. I'm going to lay here for a little while. Hogan says he's going to break him. Right, match 8. Bret Hart versus Booker. Again, disappointed with the time limit in it. I think they could have gone on for a little bit more and told a good story. But I didn't mind the finish in the end with the DQ because it showed Bret had that vicious side. We wanted to see more from him. And you can't get worse than that, can you, really? Attacking him, trying to break his fucking leg.
Indeed, yes.
What are your thoughts?
I just wanted more. I wanted a lot more from it. I don't know, I think Bret's kind of losing a step since coming over to WCW. Maybe he's got lazy, maybe he's phoning in a bit. Maybe he doesn't have to perform like he used to, because, we're going back to watching matches of him and British Bulldog going for half hour slam. And, that's the kind of things I wanted to see and I wanted to expect from Bret. But, you're just seeing him kind of phoning it in. And, it was too short. I just was left wanting more.
It seems like his heart's not in it in WCW, really, isn't it?
Bret's
what I mean?
not in it.
No, it really does, though. Like I say, he feels like he's just not taking it easy, but just going along with things. He's not happy. I don't think he ever really wanted to leave the WWF, and like the Goldberg situation, rather than just getting on with it, they're complaining and moaning about other things and trying to change it around like this. Hogan's association with Goldberg, with Bret Hart, with what's going on now in our main event, with Kevin Nash, everyone throughout the card, it all based around Hogan. Hogan is the centre of this WCW universe right now. When you think about everybody around him, it all comes off Hogan, and that is a problem with WCW at this time. I think we just basically worked it out. We look through the card, Karl Malone is in, and he's been beaten down by Hogan thanks to a Rodman cheap shot, and now it's Hogan with the elbow drops. The man who lost to Goldberg is beating up Karl Malone.
Yeah, and anyway, I gave that a 3.25.
I gave that a 3.5. Because I still think it was much better. Like, the half was because of the talent involved compared to, like, Conan versus Disco match. Well, the half, it's Booker Benoit, isn't it? Booker Bret. And then match 9, World Heavyweight title, Goldberg versus Curt Henning.
Well, I thought that was a bloody good defence from Goldberg. It kind of shows that with the right opponent, he can give a bit more into the match. And so if he keeps going up through the calibers of wrestlers he's going against, I think, his matches can only get better and better.
Yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed it. Exactly the same here. It's one of these things WWE that can do it right, so why didn't they keep doing it for? And that's one of these things. It must be the backstage thing of creative. A really, really important match. I think I gave that the same as you. What did you give that, Dan?
I gave that a 4.
Yeah, I gave that a 4 out of 5 as well. And now on to the main event. I'll tell you something, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Not too bad. Malone's in there. Rodman came in for a time, slammed him down. Couple of moves. Hogan's back in. Malone, though, is taking most of the punishment. Getting pinned but managing to kick out. And now Hogan with the sleeper hold on Karl Malone.
Comes over, takes out Hogan, takes Rodman off the side of the apron. He goes down like a sack of shit. Now Page unleashing on Hollywood.
Yeah, he got the hot tag in. He's on fire, baby.
Irish whip, but a cheap shot from Rodman.
But just like that, Hogan takes over. We thought Page was doing all right. And Dennis Rodman and the Disciple at ringside helping Hogan out. Big burp coming.
Big cum burp.
Not a bigger thought. Smells like cum. Tastes like cum. It's cum. Cum, sponsored by Mark Tardis. And Hogan cuts off DDP, spitting at Malone just because he's black. That is disgusting. And now Rodman choking out Page. Double team there by Hogan and Rodman. Double clothesline. Page down. No, managing to kick out. I don't know how much more punishment DDP can take in this match. Seriously, it is really, really bad. And now Rodman and Hogan double teaming Page. Double big boot. My word. Hogan slamming DDP down, go for the cover, but again, Page kicking out two. Hogan and Rodman taking easy pictures.
Rodman and Hogan.
Hogan and Rodman. Rodman and Hogan. Nice tags in and out. Double teaming on Page. Oh, wait a minute. Page fighting out the corner. Finally going to get a chance, but Hogan stops him down. God darn it.
DDP tags in Malone.
And here comes Malone, and Hogan doesn't want any of this. Malone with a clothesline. Some fans in the... look, my predictions. James Rhodes' predictions, baby! Malone slams down Hogan. Got Rodman. Slams down Rodman. This is incredible by the mailman. He's delivering right now. He's got Hogan. Rodman slow to get to his feet. Finally does. Double noggin knocker. The meeting of the minds, if they had any. And now Hogan is in trouble. Malone has been incredible here. Taking down Hogan. Signalling for the diamond cutter. Tags in Page. This is over. It is over soon.
They think it's all over. Bang!
It is now.
Can you get the cover?
Surely.
Don't call me Shirley, but it looks like DDP's going to win it.
Oh no, here comes Rodman.
Rodman sneaking in.
But here comes
he gets
Malone.
Caught by Malone.
Oh!
Bang!
Double diamond cutter. Charles, you're in charge of the referee.
Charles in charge.
Oh.
Disciples in. Stunners DDP.
And puts Hogan on Page. Oh, for fuck's sake.
So the Disciple beat Page.
With a stone cold stunner. Hogan gets the victory. Unbelievable stuff there. But oh look, Malone! Diamond cut to the Disciple. So the face team who should have won ends up losing, but at least Hogan gets the job done. And Malone wants to be the winner, but he's not. Now we get a lot of rubbish thrown in. Well, he can't believe it. Well, Malone thought he was the winner there. But in the end, it was Rodman and Hogan. And referee's not happy. He's not happy with referee. No!
Bang. Diamond cutter for Charles Robinson. Bang!
Well, what did Charles do wrong? And him and Page...
Well, Charles wasn't in charge.
On the same page. But Hogan goes away with the win. I mean, Dan, what are your thoughts on that match?
It was just a showcase, really, wasn't it? You know, it was... I think it was 10, 15 minutes longer than it actually needed to be. You know, you should... If you've got one wrestler in there with no talent, it shouldn't go that long. But you've got two wrestlers in there... Or two, you know, sports stars in there, personalities in there, without any wrestling talent. I don't think it should go on for as long as it did. I know they did spend a lot of their time just, you know, wandering about, feeling each other out and, you know, things like that. But it was nothing more than a glorified showcase match, was it? No,
but I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think credit must be there for Malone and Rodman, even though they're millionaires in their own sport. And they come here and they're getting involved in it. They wrestle a lot longer than we do see other personalities doing it. Whether that be right or wrong, I think that's fair. I think it's Hogan's show again. Hogan gets the victory. Of course he does. Even though it was Malone and DDP's, you know, idea originally. But that is the Hogan way. And the NWO Black and White are celebrating as we go off the air. I mean, look at Henning, you know, just lost to Goldberg, the Disciple, Scotty Steiner, Scott Hall. Is the Black and White dominate? We don't know. We're going to find out now because we're going to watch the last three Nitros. But before we do, to the night, Dan.
My match of the night was Eddie versus Chavo all day long.
I've got to agree with you there with Eddie versus Chavo. And your rating out of 10?
7.5. I thought it was entertaining from start to finish. There was a few lulls in it, but, you know, give me a pay-per-view that doesn't.
I'm going to give it a solid 8 because it's one of those pay-per-views where I really, really enjoyed it, apart from this last match. But again, now it's a choice that you can just turn it off and that would be done with a pay-per-view. I think it's enjoyable otherwise. You know, like I say, we saw a couple of great stories being told, a couple of good matches. We didn't have like a classic match. But again, for what we've seen in WCW, this has got to be one of the best pay-per-views we've seen this year, isn't it?
Oh, most certainly, yeah. It's certainly an improvement on what we've seen before. Again, it starred too much NWO Wolfpack, really.
Yeah. So, after the pay-per-view and what that main event, Nitro 148, July 13th, and I am trying to forget the main event at that fairly lackluster pay-per-view. I mean, this whole Rodman Malone shit needs to end. I mean, it is really terrible. Tyson was fine because he was not front and centre. It did not detract from the show. This crap does. And while a novelty for a show or two, such as for interviews or run-ins, but the actual wrestling sucks. Now, Eric Bischoff has to figure out what to do with Goldberg and with Bret Hart and others. And hopefully it is done well. And if they can keep the gap closed with Raw, then they should be alright. The ratings stay strong with a near 4.5 off a strong start at 4.7, but it fell to a 4.0 when Raw started, but had a strong finish with 4.7. Raw got a 4.65 off a 4.4 and it rose to a 4.9. So you can see there's still interest in the product as they go back and forth.
Yes, and the recap of Goldberg winning is truly a big moment, and they are playing it up as one, and so they should. And here comes Bischoff with Liz and the rest of the NWO. Hollywood, with the rest of the NWO Hollywood, now with Hulk Hogan leading the way. After a long flex, ready to finally speak. Bischoff does for a moment. He holds the mic for Hogan, who declares the propaganda has to stop and NWO is family. Goldberg's reign is just a flash in the pan and it will end soon. Now to some family business. Love truly hurts and there are some bumps in the road that are going to be straightened out. If it was not for Hall, he would not be in the situation he was in. He allowed Goldberg to mow him down and he has heard the back talk that Hall thinks he is the man to run the NWO. He's calling Hall out tonight and Hall is his. Hall starts off with, "Hey yo," and he has done everything Hogan said, including hit Nash because he needs the money. Hall is all for a match and tells Hogan to stop singing it and bring it. Hogan is the big bad creep tonight and he's going to take him down. Hogan tells Bischoff to stop snickering and he is upset about Goldberg. Got the match and EB will be the ref tonight. Bischoff tries to beg off and Hall interrupts and tells him all he has to do is count 1, 2, 3 and tosses his toothpick at Hogan, who is not happy. Hogan tells Hall to go to the back and get ready. Hogan declares that the Disciple knows how to handle business and they could learn from him. Disciple is fucking awful on the mic. I mean awful. He wants a piece of DDP tonight for hitting him with a chair and he's going to beat him up despite costing DDP the match last night. He is still talking. Okay, Hogan states they are going to find out who is for life tonight.
My God, they're trying out Hogan and the same old shit week in, week out. Match one is the Barbarian versus Horace. Anyway, it was a back and forth match with the Barbarian getting a win. Not much here. LaFlotte runs in and pounds him. Meng runs in and now he puts the Barbarian in the death grip. Gene is with Kurt and Rick Rude. Gene wants to know where Rude was last night. Rude makes some excuse that his flight was cancelled and Kurt was left alone with a bad will and he blames Goldberg. So we wondered where Rick Rude was at the pay-per-view and apparently it was due to a bad flight, not because he didn't want to be there. Kurt found out the weakness of Goldberg and tonight he wants a rematch and he wants to face him solo without Rude there. Rude wants to know if he's sure and Kurt is, and they have to get the point across. Kurt wants to prove he is the greatest athlete. I didn't see a weakness last night against Goldberg.
Nah, no one's able to find a weakness. I don't think there could be a weakness if there was 3 Curt Hennings, but, you know, that's just me. Well, Gene is now with JoJo, and they bring out Rey Mysterio Jr. Before they can talk to Rey, Jericho comes out. He has the WCW rulebook. JoJo is hesitant. Jericho continues, and Dean, being suspended, present, and the match is now null and void, and Jericho demands JoJo repeat what he said. Jericho claims the match then never took place and JoJo agrees. Jericho states, here's the champ now, and the pacing Rey has finally left. JoJo agrees again that he is still champ. Rey is still there and refuses to give the belt back as Jericho demands it. Gene tells Rey that he has to give it up, and Rey reluctantly does, and Dean comes out and tells Jericho that he will not get away with this. That he already has, and Dean and Rey will face off to become the number one contender tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great match, but again, I do like the story, but did they really have to have him like 2 months in a row in that way, kind of getting the title back in the match never happened, and the kind of forfeiting of it? Does it take away from the match that we saw? I think it does a little bit.
I think it's quite a comical way. It's just Jericho being, trying to get himself over more as a heel. He lost the title fair and square-ish, but yeah, he still retains it. I'm going to use the rule books to my advantage.
Yeah. And he is, isn't he? Jericho's been really entertaining that way. Plus, we get to see Mysterio versus Malenko later tonight. The next match was Jim Duggan versus Rick Fuller.
Ho!
Fuller's gotten one move in and he's getting dismantled. Fans are certainly behind Duggan. Duggan finishes him off with a dreaded 3-point stance.
That was a bit of a squat, wasn't it? But Buff is back out in the wheelchair, and Gene tells him that everyone has been asking about him. He is glad to see him back. Buff has been watching every week and has seen the NWO split, and he has to go his own way, and Scotty can go his. He wants Rick to come out. Rick in a sling comes out, and Buff starts to speak, but here comes Hogan and the Disciple.
Oh, yeah, again.
Rick backs off as Hogan threatens him. Buff needs to do what Hulk tells him, and Hogan has taught him to be a man and tells him NWO is for life. He's sick of Buff and calls him a cream puff and pushes him out of the wheelchair and leaves. The fans chant, Hogan sucks.
Oh my God, so 45 minutes and we've been graced with Hulk Hogan twice, so even though he's not the champion, I guess still a man. Are we really going to believe Buff Bagwell has got a serious injury that he's not going to turn on someone? And what's happened with Rick Steiner? Where's Scott Steiner? What's going on there? I don't know. I'm asking questions there's no answers to. Match 3, Fit Finlay versus Bret Hart. They lock up and Bret pushes him in the corner where he hammers him. Bret rubs his face across the rope, kicks him and then headbutts him. Fit pokes the eye and drops him with an uppercut. Fit measures his shots and gets a 2 count.
2.
Fit is having a way as he's clothesline and then stomps on him. They are now out on the floor with Fit stalking him, but he gets nutted. And now Bret in command, and he gives Fit a backbreaker and drops his head on the groin. Fitlow makes a comeback and puts Bret in a chinlock, but Bret is up and works him over in the corner. But then again, he runs into a boot after the whip, and Fit gets another 2.
2.
After a short arm clothesline. But Bret strikes with an inverted atomic drop, pulls him off the ropes, and finishes him with this sharpshooter. I mean, it was okay, Matt. It's nice to see Bret in action. Fit is always decent. And again, he's had these matches that they could have done more with.
Indeed, yes. And it's, it is what it is, really, isn't it? But Bret's actually finally getting in the ropes, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Up next, we've got Stevie Ray versus Rick Martel. Ray has the TV title. Martel is back. Oh, joy. Penza and the ref are baffled as to why he has the belt, but the match starts, and Ray starts strong, but Martel gets some blows in and drops him. He goes for the arm. Ray is up, but is put back in the armbar. Martel is tossed to the floor and holds the knee. Ray leaps off the apron and nails him, and then we go to a commercial.
So Rick Martel was injured in a match with Booker T at the pay-per-view at the start of the year. He's come back now, but why has Stevie got his brother's title? Well, Martel's laid out in the middle of the ring as we come back, and Martel grabs him and gets 2.
2.
After a sunset flip. He stomps on Ray and gets 2 more.
2.
After a drop kick, he goes back to the arm. He's still working over the arm, and Ray slowly gets vertical, and Martel leaps right off his power slam. Ray misses the elbow drop, and Rick gets another 2 after a hip toss.
2.
Now Martel runs with an elbow, and he's kicked. Martel back suplexes Ray and has him in a crab, but Bret runs down and belts Martel with a chair, and the ref does not see it, because the referee in 1988 is the worst. And Ray finishing him off with a slapjack.
Lovely. Well, it was far too long a match.
It's awful, yeah.
Well, Ray is willing to defend the title against anybody, and Gene is baffled. And Ray claims he has the belt and will defend it against all comers. He claims Booker has given him the power of attorney, and Gene wants to see the paperwork. Ray may bring it next week. Gene is suspicious.
I wonder what's going on there. Well, what a great match next day. This is why Nitro was doing so well. Match 5, Conan versus Barry Darsow. Sting is with him, and even he can't save it. They do their thing to get the crowd riled up. I've not got much to say on this. Barry gets in some offense before getting destroyed. Tequila Sunrise, you know the other shit.
Mean Gene is in the ring and calls out DDP. DDP is fired up and makes no excuses and wants a disciple right now, and he obliges.
Oh, thank goodness. So we're getting a dream match. DDP versus the disciple.
Well, DDP stomps on him as he gets in the ring and then back suplexes him, but Disciple strikes back and takes him down, where he chokes him out on the ropes. He chokes him out in the corner, runs pillar to post, and then pile drives him. Rude has come out, and Disciple looks at him and gets nailed with a jawbreaker. DDP goes up top, and Rude shoves him off. Rude is on the apron, and Disciple goes to run DDP at him, but it fails, and Rude falls, and Disciple is rolled up and pinned.
Well, the fans were hot for DDP. Hogan attacks him from behind with a chair, and DDP is out. But the question you got to ask, like, WCW getting all these wrestlers at the time, you know, Rick Rude and that, when he came over, it was a big shock. And now it's like, we don't really know what to do with him, so let's stick him in a match. He's meant to be with Henning, but we'll put him in with DDP and the Disciple. It just seems a bit of a mess at the moment. Well, match 7's Canyon versus Raven versus Saturn.
Do you know what? If no one from the NWO comes out and ruins this match, I'm going to be pissed off.
Let's see if Hogan arrives. Canyon is attached to the ring by the NWO. No. And now Saturn runs in and beats on both. Hammers Raven inside the ring, and Canyon takes him out with a singing net break. Singing? With a swinging net break. Why doesn't Elias do the singing net breaker? Anyway, all three are now beating on each other with Saturn getting the upper hand. Raven is getting pounded, and Canyon comes back in the frame, picks up Raven in the fireman's carry, and literally spikes him through the mat. When I say literally, he didn't literally do that. Saturn runs over Canyon, and they both end up on the floor. Saturn pulls out a table and lays Canyon on top of it. Saturn goes up top and splashes right onto him. Lodi grabs Saturn and rolls him into the ring. Raven places him on top and wants to suplex him off, but he's tossed off, and Canyon crotches Saturn.
Now Canyon is going up top. Canyon misses a splash, but Saturn does not, and Canyon barely makes the save. Canyon places him up top, and Raven is there too. And we get triple back suplex. Raven tries to pin each, but only gets a 2. And has Raven down for the count with a flatliner, but Saturn makes a save. Saturn grabs Raven, hits a Death Valley driver, but Canyon pulls him to the floor and they hammer each other. They fight up the ramp and it's a count out in a Ravens rules match.
No, that doesn't make much sense, but quite a fun match. Angle advancement for that one. And now, next match should be good because it's Rey Mysterio versus Dean Malenko. This should be a great one, both after Jericho. And both men have got a lot of respect for each other. You can see that in the start. I reckon Dean put a headlock in, but Rey reversed it. Now Dean has a wrist. And both flop to the mat. That's awful what you're saying, flop to the mat. This is beautiful by these two. Snapmare attempt by Dean, but Ray lands on his feet. Malenko picks up Ray, but Ray turns it into an arm drag. Dean Malenko to the outside. Here comes Ray now.
Sliding out after him, both men roll back into the ring and they're face to face yet again.
And that's what we like to see. Both men want Chris Jericho. I mean, why don't you just have a triple threat match? Really fuck Jericho over. Malenko takes the arm, and I got to say he's more, obviously, of the technical wrestler in this one. I mean, he knows over 1,000 holes, doesn't he? But when Mysterio beats
Jericho knows 1,002,
yeah,
so, you know, he's
fair.
nothing special.
And he knows about the contracts, that's why he always gets back. But Malenko working over the arm of Ray, and Ray's been out for so long with a leg, you can see the knee brace he's wearing now.
Malenko's got Ray tied up, he's got the arm, and he's got the head scissors on as well.
Now Mysterio can barely move. Ray managing to get out of it though and stick a headlock in himself, and now he's working the arms. Trying to get maybe a handlebar.
Pushing him down, goes for cover, but Malenko up at 1.
I'm surprised with the power there with Mysterio managing to push Malenko down.
Ray's actually tinier, isn't he?
He is so small. I mean, the amount of muscle he put on in WWE is quite incredible. I even think he wore some heels because you look at the legs as well, you know, like he's a really small dude.
He might have had his knees.
I mean, the amount of padding and stuff like, yeah, I suppose that's why he wore the, you know what I mean, the pants, as the kids would say. Well, I do like the question marks for Mysterio. Exactly. Why?
Get question marks?
He's an enigma.
Are you sure they're question marks and not just sevens?
Well, Ray there tried the springboard, taking Malenko breaker. Now he runs the ropes.
Well, sends Malenko to the outside. Is Mysterio going to go flying? Yes, he does.
And that is a beautiful
Plancher
over the top there. Ray throws it back in.
Oh, what's he looking for now? The West Coast pop?
Yeah, here we go. Springboard. Malenko scouted.
Ducks underneath Ray. Tilt-a-well backbreaker and sends Ray to the mat. So again, with Rey Mysterio, 20 years later, and he's still quite a hot commodity to join the WWE again.
I know, and he did well, didn't he? Oh, wait a minute. Rey Mysterio rolls up Malenko. No, Malenko turns it.
Well, Malenko was looking for the cloverleaf. Rey Mysterio got him in a small package. Only gets a 2.
2.
Then Malenko reverses it and gets the 2 on Ray.
2. I think the thing was Ray. They thought it was... Listen, brilliant by Mysterio. Pulls out Malenko. Goes for the cover.
Oh, but Malenko managing to kick out.
To Malenko. It did Ray well to go away for that amount of time and then come back. Because if you look at his reaction he was getting... Oh, my word. Malenko just throws Ray up. Looks like Mysterio's maybe trying to catch himself in that top rope. But instead that left leg got hung up.
Good way of selling a fuck up.
And now Malenko, Irish ripping again, stopping Mysterio. Going up for the powerbomb and Ray rolls. And now Malenko turns it into a pin himself. But Mysterio managing to kick out. Both men slow to their feet and Ray's had a count for everything that Malenko has done. Another Irish rip reverse.
Yeah, Malenko's got 1,001 moves, but Rey Mysterio's got 1,001 counters.
And maybe he's got his number in this one. Mysterio, shot to the gut of Malenko, goes up.
Malenko catches him. Oh, but Mysterio's trying to fight out. Both men are perched. Well, Malenko's sat on the top turnbuckle.
Oh.
Mysterio going for a Hurricane Rana. Malenko catches him. He's got him up on his shoulders.
Oh.
Oh, and a second rope gutbuster to Ray.
And it took Malenko down and look at Chris Jericho. He's got the belt in his hand. He's swinging it. Referee can't see.
Bang. Belts Malenko across the back. And Jericho's pleased with himself.
Well, he's smirking.
No, James hasn't got a cigarette in his gob. He's just got a smile on his face because he knows he's going to be going against Rey Mysterio for the title.
Ray gets the cover. You can't blame Ray for that. He's only doing what was right, but unbelievably, Dean Malenko wins thanks to Jericho and his shenanigans. But what do you think of the match?
I thought it was very entertaining. You know, these two guys, they've certainly got a lot of chemistry in the ring. I'd like to have seen a proper match between these two as well.
Yeah, it would have been nice going a little bit longer, but it is what it is, I suppose. And we move on. Our next match is Lex Luger and Kevin Nash versus Disco Inferno and Alex Wright.
And not only is it's like a 3-on-2 handicap match.
Yeah, look at that!
Because we've got Alex Wright, Disco Inferno, and Alex Wright's dong.
We've got the total package going against Lex Luger in this one. And look at Alex Wright nipping up with Luger, showing that he's got the power. Arm drags Lex Luger, my word. Very impressive, Alex. You dance, son. You've earned it. My God, Sting at ringside as well. Red and black. Still can't go over that. Uh-oh.
And Conan. Don't forget Conan. He's there.
Oh, I forgot him. Oh, I'm sorry. And Luger making his comeback.
He's the one wearing like a golfer's hat upside down, backwards.
He's so cool. Well, Lex is flexing and clotheslining. Flexing and clotheslining. You know, you look just like Conan. Orderly!
We're getting bowdy.
Oh, and Alex Wright doesn't want any of it. And oh, look, your mate Conan thrown Disco in.
Your mate Conan.
And Alex Wright, yeah, go beat up Conan.
Oh, looking to bounce Conan's head off the ring apron, but Conan reverses it, throws him into barricades. Sting comes off, splashes him. And you're telling me the ref can't see this?
Well, maybe. Well, it's Charles Robinson, so, you know. And Disco, maybe thought it'd become part of the Wolf Pack then, but it gets clotheslined.
So is Disco and Alex Wright not faces then? Because they look really facey to me.
Well, I think they're disliked because they're German and one dances a disco. Oh, no.
Well, Alex Wright is up for the torture rack. Disco's getting jackknifed.
And the Wolfpack are here in the house. I mean, you look at that. That's quite a strong unit. And Conan.
There's one good wrestler and the rest of the Wolfpack.
Oh, my God.
And Sting with a smile on his face
I
as
know.
well.
When's he ever looked so happy?
Rolling Disco out the ring.
I don't know. I was about to say, exclude Conan. Do you think Nash, Luger, and Sting would be a rival for Hall, Nash, and Hogan?
Oh, I don't know because I'm not that big a fan on Lex.
I know, side down, doesn't he? Really? You know, I mean, you can say maybe because Sting was maybe going to be originally part of the NWA, but hey, oh my God, it's my favourites tonight because up next it's Steve McMichael versus Eddie Guerrero.
Well, Eddie attacks him right at the bell. He drop kicks him twice and hammers him into a corner. Mongo tries to fight back, but is whipped into the ropes and dropped with a forearm. Now Eddie leaps right into him and is slammed. Mongo suplexes him. Chavo comes right in and Mongo is down. And Eddie is up for the frog splash, but Chavo will not move. Eddie hops down, kicks Chavo into Mongo, and that upsets the latter and he tombstones Chavo.
Well, nice to see Eddie not get pinned in this one. And then match 11, one of our main events. Hollywood Hogan versus Scott Hall. Well, Hall tosses a toothpick at Hogan and then does it to Eric Bischoff. Hogan hits Hall, then rakes the back. But Hall bites his hand. Hogan has the arm and takes down Hall. He allows him to get up and now Hall has the arm and paintbrushes Hogan to the cheers of the crowd. But Hogan counters with a clothesline. Hogan pulls him up, punches him a few times, and now Robert punches the head. Hogan continues to work him over and gets some help from the Disciple. Hogan back suplexes him and Hall has the ropes, but Bischoff still counts 2.
2.
Hogan chokes out Hall and then goes over and shoves Bischoff as the Disciple chokes out Hall. Hall blocks Hogan, now he sandwiches Hogan and stomps and hits him. Hogan comes back and cheats a bit as he has him in a sleeper and Hulk almost has him, but Hall reverses it. Bischoff makes him break and Hogan nuts him. Bischoff does not mind it, nor does he mind when Hogan stomps in his nuts. Hogan pulls him up and it's big boot time. Hogan calls for the crowd.
DDP runs down and runs over Hogan and then the Disciple, who is just staggering. Bischoff is given the diamond cutter and now Hogan recovers quickly and takes out DDP. Nash sprints to the ring and he never moves this quick. Nash beats on Hogan, he helps out Nash and holds Hogan for a bit until Hall attacks Nash. Now Hogan and the Disciple are beating up DDP.
Wow, so there we go. It's the NWA Wolfpack versus DDP and Nash, really. I suppose it kind of
NWA Hollywood.
NWA Hollywood, it kind of makes sense if you know what I mean. But what can I say? It's the same old Hogan shit, isn't it? We've seen him, 4 times today on this episode. And for me, it's just too much. Too much NWO. You know, the Finlay Brett match and the Eddie and the Malenko Mysterio match is perfect in there. And yet...
Well, match 12, and it gets the Michael Buffer treatment. And it is Curt Henning versus Goldberg for the WCW title. And this is the proper Goldberg entrance, following him from his dressing room, surrounded by police officers. And James, do you know that police officers aren't there to protect Goldberg?
No?
They're to protect everyone else from Goldberg.
Well, we are ready for the main event. You talk about proper Goldberg entrance from the back, through all that smoke and fireworks and blowing out the smoke and ready for action. It's kind of awe-inspiring. And they say he's got a perfect record, 112. Well, Curt Henning says he's got a game plan to stop that tonight. So we wonder what he's got in store. I mean, the world title is on the line here on Nitro. So this is a rematch pay-per-view, of course. We'll Bash at the Beach that we watched just a few minutes ago.
Well, you know, you say about Goldberg's perfect record. Well, only one man in there is actually known as Mr. Perfect.
And he's just slapped Goldberg across the face. I don't know if that's a great idea.
Well, Kurt goes for a second one. Goldberg blocks it. Irish whips him. Hits the spear.
Whoa.
And I don't think this is going to go much longer.
The crowd on their feet. He's like Mike Tyson, a heavyweight boxer, just knocked someone out. Goldberg's just speared Henning. And now what happens, Dan?
Well, James, He's going to jack him up, hammer him down. 1, 2, 3. Good night, Curt.
Well, whatever Kurt's game plan was, it really didn't work there, did it? I mean, it's just brilliant, and it's just Goldberg, and this sums up what Goldberg's all about. Again, over a bit too quick for my liking, but on the Nitro, I guess that's acceptable, and pay-per-view's a little bit longer, but the fans are behind him, and I wonder what's next for old Bill.
Well, Curt has helped make Goldberg and buried himself in the same match. Not sure if this is a good or a bad thing, but it's nice to elevate others, and Curt is done as a semi-uppercarder, and they are definitely serious about Goldberg.
That's damning. Just see the replay of the spear and the jackhammer. But we move on to our next episode, Nitro, and that's July 20th, episode 149.
They've handled Goldberg's win quite well. The follow-up was decent, as was Thunder. They're building towards something as Hall and Nash are finally getting their feud going thanks to Hall being out of rehab. They need to use the Wolfpack more. DDP has not been pushed to the pay-per-view like many others have been. Let's get this bitch rolling as Nitro got a fairly low 4.4 off hours. 4.4 off of hours of a solid start with 4.7, but it dipped to 2 4.2s while Raw started strong with their go-home show with a 4.6 and a 5.4 for a 5.0.
And if you understand that, you're a brighter man than me at the moment. Tenay and Schiavone have an orgasm as they act like they do not know how the show is going to start. They probably really don't know. And it's Scott Hall. He tries for a survey, but is booed. He then starts to make fun of Nash as he always on his back in the ring, getting saved by Hall. Nash is not the leader of the Wolfpack because he's not a man. He's an embarrassment to Hall and not half the man that Hogan is, and then the boos get louder. Love him or hate him, at least Hollywood is the man. In closing, everyone knows that NWO Black and White is just too sweet, and he gets some support there.
Well, the first match is Stevie Ray versus Jobber. And that's not the name of a wrestler, it is an actual jobber. Ray states as he comes down to the ring that he does not have the belt and he left it with his attorney. He assures that is what he is doing and it's in the best interest of his brother. He is shaking the opponent's hand and making clean breaks. Ray has had enough and tears into the kid. Here comes Chavo and he has the belt, who is yelling that Ray forgot it. He waves at Ray, but it does not stop him from finishing off Johnny Ball. I think that's who it is.
Well, complete squash, and Chavo drops the title and then runs while riding his horse Pepe. Ray's leaving, trying to hide it behind his back. So what's going on there then? Rick Steiner wants a piece for his brother at Sturgis, and he talks about buffing his brother as well as his surgery. Good God, is Rick terrible on the stick. He's just rambling. Here comes Buff in a wheelchair, and Rick states that what happened last week was a tragedy. Bad what he did to Buff those months ago and apologises. Buff received thousands of letters and was initially mad about it, but he has come to peace about it. He has changed man and forgives Rick, tells him he loves him, and then he gives him a hug. Scotty runs down and belts Rick with a chair. Buff is staggered and briefly tries to protect Rick, but takes a chair and blasts Rick and then takes off his neck break and his shirt to show off the NWOT. Who would have thought that? How many fucking times?
Well, after that, Gene calls out Jericho, who is bragging about being champ and the terrible anguish that he has been going through due to Dean Malenko. The man has interfered in all his matches. He's even conspiring with Arn to beat him. It is because he wants a shot at his belt and he can never be a champion. A paragon of virtue like he is. Jericho is a fair champion and next week he's going to give Dean a chance to feed his starving ego. And this is his last chance if he loses back to cooking burgers, as he will never get the chance at this belt ever again. Jericho reluctantly asks what will happen if Dean wins, and Jericho laughs it off and will give him a good old Canadian fight, and then he shows off the belt.
Hall heads to the broadcast table and asks if Larry missed him and then throws a toothpick at him. He has something to say. He's been learning a lot about movies since hanging out with Hogan, and that is action. He warns about not replaying the Nash interview where he cried. Hall pats Tenay and offers Schiavone's hand, then pulls it and crotch chops at Larry.
Tenay and Tony have no idea what they're going to show. Tenay and Tony have no idea when they're going to show that video. They pan to the outside, and there is a sign that states star of the show, and a car is crashed against the wall.
Well, match 2, Steve McMichael versus Sick Boy. It's supposed to be a play on Leno, the star thing. Lodi tries to attack him and fails. Sick joins in and gets pummeled for a bit, but Sick Boy's finished via a Mongo spike. Squash. I hate Mongo.
Oh, fuck me. Bischoff comes out doing the Leno thing. He's doing some stand-up. Oh, Lord. Hey, he did a Sheen joke. I forgot he was a fuck-up then, too. He now has some Lewinsky jokes and how Clinton has slept everywhere except at Hillary's. And Reno's place. He now has some Lewinsky jokes and how Clinton has slept everywhere and Reno's. Schiavone screeches that they are the same jokes that Leno used on Friday. At least use some original jokes. The fans are booing. There is a Viagra joke. He makes fun of Leno and his chin. And now Leno and his love for bikes and compares it to Monica and swimsuit calendars. Hogan is there too and coming out.
Ooh. Well, technical difficulties for the Nash interview, and it's Hall messing with a truck. Nash is right there and they start brawling. Well, Nash is beating his ass, and now Rude and Henning and the rest of the NWO comes out the trailer and they hammer him. Here comes the rest of the Wolfpack, and Hall sent it to the garage door, but he fires back.
Here comes Bret Hart, and he wants DDP right here, right now. He wants the US belt right now, and they are the two top contenders for it. They pan to the back and DDP is laid out and Conan is screaming for help. Hart declares he is fine and tells DDP he needs to get his ass out here. Now he and Larry join. DDP is getting checked out. Bret heads to the ring. He waits there and here comes JoJo. Bret wants DDP out here right now. They argue and fans chant for DDP as JoJo heads to the back.
Match 3 is Yuji Nagata versus Saturn. Okay, I guess the Hart match is later. And I thought Hogan was a guest on Bischoff's show. I may not have been paying attention. Saturn takes him down and puts him in a cross arm breaker. Yuji gets to the ropes and Saturn kicks him in the head a few times. Nagata reverses the whip and gives him a belly to back suplex. He grabs the leg and goes to work on it. Saturn comes back with a belly to belly, but Nagata counters with a stiff kick to the head. Yuji stomps away.
Schiavone informs us they just broke up the NWO melee and that Nash and Sting will face Hall and the Giant next to maintain order. Or EB notices what is going on Raw and booked on the fly, or is it a way to make the show seem more spontaneous?
Well, Saturn is back in command and has him right where he wants him, but Raven runs down and connects with the even flow. Nagata finishes him in a flock attack Saturn, but Canyon comes down and goes off. He gets an eruption after pile driving Kidman from the middle rope. He grabs Saturn and not sure what he's doing as he holds him, and Saturn gives him the Death Valley Driver. So it looks like Canyon and Saturn are going to be working together against the flock. And then we get Sting and Nash versus Scott Hall and the Giant. And this is going to be for the WCW Tag Team titles. I mean, this is a dream match. This is what we want to see. Wolfpack versus the NWO. Even though Scott Hall is dressed like a Wolfpack member. And now he's mocking Sting, and Sting's changed.
Yeah, he's wearing some like baggy pants. He's got a Wolfpack t-shirt on, still with his red and black face paint.
It's a bit weird, and Hall's got the arm of Sting. Uh-oh.
Now Sting at Hall.
Yeah, close on the crotch chop, and it continues after this.
So the Giant is in to face Sting. A huge Giant sucks chant going out through the crowd.
And he's looking at his former tag team partner. Remember, they're both members of WCW. Try and go for the better thing, and now different members of the NWO.
Well, Sting just slaps the Giant, annoys him. Giant backs up, tries charging at Sting, who moves out the way. And now he's perched across the corner. Sting with a big elbow to Giant as he's perched across the corner, goes for a second one, but the Giant gets his boot up and pushes Sting halfway across the ring.
Well, look at how the power of the Giant then. And he won't tag Scott Hall. He thinks he's in control now. I don't blame him. And of course, you've got big, sexy Giant Killer there, who dropped Giant on his head just a few months ago.
So is the Jackknife still banned?
I think so, but easy.
But didn't Hogan say he's going to pay for the fines?
Yeah, now Hogan's annoyed, and he said he does want to pay for the fines, and Nash says, well, I can afford them anyway. So again, what's the point of it being banned? It does get a pop though when the Giant takes down a Sting. The Sting.
Oh, Giant headbutt Sting in the nether regions. The referee clearly doesn't see that.
The referee is like half the size of the Giant, so I guess maybe he's to get blocked, you block out the sun, I suppose. And now Scott Hall's in, just slapping the back of Sting. The fans very rowdy.
You're getting bowdy. He's actually got a wolf pack on his trunks.
Yeah, look, at least he's here and not drunk. Well, he's been drinking.
At least he's here.
Yes. Nice fall away slam by Hall, going using the ropes.
And the ref didn't see it.
And he gets a 2.
2.
Oh.
Scott Hall has got the abdominal stretching.
Oh my God. And
Who was
now
that made famous by?
Wilbur Schneider, but he never had the giant there be able to pull Scott Hall's arm and make it even harder. Referee's getting down and they're going to do it again. But that's something that annoys me though about Scott Hall not bothering to change. Do you know what I mean? Like, why not? Why wasn't someone go up to him and say, look mate, come on now. I hate when they're teaming. At least Sting's made the effort. He's like, well, I'm Wolfpack now, I'm going to change my look. If he came out just as a normal Sting, you'd be like, okay, it's alright. I want more. And they're doing it again. Referee sees it this time.
Sting with a hip toss takedown finally breaks the hold.
But Scott Hall gets tagged to the Giant, and Sting tags in Nash. And he's going straight after the Giant. The fans going crazy. Forearms, right hands. Giant staggering. Knee to the gut. Giant gets out there. Tags in Hall. Now we're going to see it finally.
Hall versus Nash, and one big elbow drops Hall. And he's looking punch drunk, but, you know, that's just natural for Scott Hall.
And now Nash has got him up, maybe snake eyes.
No, Hall with a backslide throws Nash into the corner, but Nash stops it, ducks a clothesline attempt and a big boot to Hall. Is he looking to drop him?
Well, they used to be best friends, and now it looks like it's going to be the end.
Best friends, better enemies.
And now it's going to be jackknife time. I think Giant realises.
Oh, some interruption.
At least he's legal in the match. Double axe smash. Oh, come on, ref.
I do believe the ref actually looked to his left slightly when that happened.
After he saw it, low blow by Sting, then a bulldog by Sting. I mean, the officiating here is really just... And look at the reaction from the crowd. This is a hot angle. Fans want to see this. This is the NWA Wolfpack versus Hollywood. This is what we want to see.
Well, this match is starting to heat up, so in normal ways, someone's going to come down and interrupt this match.
Well, Sting gets a tag in, and he's backing up Scott Hall.
Stinger splash. Hall's turned round. He's got his back to Sting. Backward Stinger splash.
And Scott Hall don't know if he's coming or going.
Scorpion Deathlock. Giant tops the rope, but Nash catches him, and he cuts him off before he can get a chance to break it up.
And Bret Hart's in. And what is Bret Hart doing? He's pushing Sting. Sting pushes him out, and now he's taunting him. Sting's on the second rope.
Hall's got Sting outsider's edge.
Giant and Nash are outside.
1, 2, 3. And we've got new tag team champions, Scott Hall and the Giant, thanks to a bit of help from Bret.
Well, I guess Bret is now most definitely NWO black and white, but he doesn't seem happy. But why get involved in it anyway, Bret? But I don't mind that. What do you think, Dan?
I was actually enjoying the match, but again, yeah, I was actually thoroughly enjoying the match, and, you know, this is just more of an annoyance again, you know, it's every single match, it starts getting good, and then some dickhead comes out and fucks it up.
Yeah, it is annoying, especially when the fans want it so much as well.
But doing it for a reason is okay.
Well, match 5, Disco and Alex Vaitia versus Great Muta and Tenzan.
Well, Muta and Tenzan attack the Dancing Fools from behind. Right, heel kicks Tenzan, and now Disco is in, and he stomps away. Now there's some back and forth. Muta kicks Disco, and then after the tag, he finishes him off.
Well, nice to see Muta getting a win. Norton comes in and powerbombs Disco, just for the hell of it.
And match 6 is Tokyo Magnum versus Ultimo Dragon.
Well, this could be short. Dragon is tearing into him. Oh boy, headstand kick time, and now some stiff kicks to the chest. Magnum comes back, and Frankenstein is in from the top. He hammers him and goes up top, but he leaps right into a drop kick. Well, he is grazed. Dragon crushes him with a brainbuster, and it's Dragon Sleeper time. Well,
it's almost a squash, but it was quite fast-paced as well. And match 7 is Scott Norton versus Jim Powers. Hall hinted he was on roids a year or so ago. When they took over the mic. Norton is destroying him. Norton runs into a boot and is barely bludged, nor do the lariats budge him. And it is Jim Powers. I'm excited for some reason. Powerbomb and over.
Yeah, well, now Hollywood is coming out with the rest of the crew. Hogan's getting his flex on in the ring. Bischoff apologised that Malone could not make it. They're in Utah. And Hogan starts talking about, guess what?
Someone else.
No.
Being racist.
Himself. How he's God, etc. He does love his NWO rights, though. There is nothing but love for Hall. He said toe-to-toe with Hulk, and now he got the titles they deserved and asked for a round of applause. Hogan needs some new phrases and continues about being God. It's Chono and not Tenzan. Oops. He calls Goldberg a paper champion and now to Leno and says Eric Bischoff is funnier. Goddamn, Hogan is all over the place. Now Bret Hart is going to be the new US champ. US chimp. Now Carl and DDP, and now he is a true champ. What the fuck, Hogan?
Well, James, match 8, and it's one of your favourites going against Eddie Guerrero, and that is Conan. Antoine Carr plays for the Jazz, comes out with Conan and stares him down. Conan does his thing, but is short, and Carr tries to get the crowd ramped. But with the music playing, it's hard if he does so.
Well, Eddie starts strong with a clothesline. The fans chant that he sucks. Conan launches Eddie and then press slams him, and Eddie wisely rolls to the floor. Carr stares him down. Eddie gets back to the ring and is monkey flipped and then back suplexes him. Conan gets two. And Eddie lures him into the corner where he pokes him in the eye. He works him over in the corner, but the whip is reversed. Eddie is back kicked after a leapfrog and then clothesline for two.
Conan bulldogs in for 2 more. Here comes Chavo dressed as Conan, and he has Pepe and mocks Conan. Conan is still killing Eddie, gets 2 more. After a suplex. Now Conan is distracted, goes in from behind and suplexes him. Eddie's turn to be baffled and he takes Pepe. Conan takes it and smacks Eddie with it and launches him over the top rope.
Well, that was a disqualification. Would have been nice had Eddie gotten in some offence, but at least it was fast paced for what Conan can do.
And match 9 is Curt Henning versus Lex Luger.
You know, Luger's not done much of late. They lock up and neither get the advantage. The second lock up, Curt is shoved down and he pops right back up. Curt knees him and now chops away in the corner. Luger reverses the whip into the corner and off the rebound hip tosses Curt, who promptly retreats to the floor. Luger heads over and gets his throat bounced off the top rope. Back in the ring, he kicks the ribs a couple of times and strikes with a high knee. He chokes out Luger on the ropes and Rude does so after Curt distracts the ref. Curt snaps the neck and gets two.
The fans chant something at Curt, not sure what. He chokes Luger out on the ropes again. Curt has him in a sleeper. Lex counters with a back suplex. Both slowly get to their feet and Luger can drop, and now an inverted one. Lex runs him over with a clothesline, and now the ref is down. He motions for the rack. Rude runs in and gets in the rack. Rude runs in and he gets the rack, and the fans love it. Henning nails him from behind and plexes him while the ref is slow to count. Rude holds Luger's leg.
Yeah, so Henning gets the victory after what he did to help Goldberg, but kind of shady circumstances. Do you know Luger cannot wrestle? I guess they're not done with perfect after all. The end in blue is Luger is barely touched and then finished. It makes him look weak, but look at him now, you know. And match 10, Bret Hart versus DDP.
Yes, DDP limps out and there is not much time left, and these two deserve a lot of time. He gets in the ring and Bret is merciless and unloads on the often injured DDP. He stomps away and does his usual offense. He hits him in the head a few times. The crowd chants DDP, but after he gets up, he's immediately dropped and now struck with a side Russian leg sweep. DDP is turned over into the sharpshooter.
Man, he's managed to get to the ropes now, and I don't think Bret can believe it. And now Bret's just stomping on him. Disappointing into Nitro there. Bret stomps him, turns him over again. DDP is not tapped yet, but it is over. Bret is taunting the fans and finally lets go. That was an epic squash. DDP still does not get this. He was injured, but at the same time, he could have gotten in one move. It does not make Bret look strong, and they need to push the shit out of him, but they will not. They gurney out DDP, and the rest of the NWO come down to celebrate with Bret, and Hall punches DDP and he's wheeled away. DDP is placed in an ambulance and wheeled off as Bret celebrates for the NWO. And then we're on to our last episode. We're finally on to our last episode. Finally! 150, July 27th.
Yes, and I'm surprised WCW got pasted in the ratings like it did. I felt Nitro was not too bad last week. There was issues such as no Goldberg, and I'm not too keen on keeping Buff Hill. However, a lot was advanced last week. The Wolfpack is finally getting quality airtime, and so is Bret. The fear is that it will be a 1 week WCW has ADD and can't forget about things for a bit. Also, the NWO had to be strong, and now their feud with the Wolfpack will have more meaning. Nitro bounced up in the ratings with a 4.7, but Raw had a huge second hour to win with a 4.9.
Well, a long-ass recap of last week, but Goldberg will get his first chance to speak in an interview.
But before then, here comes the NWO Hall and no Hogan. Hall hypes up the black and white. He makes fun of Nash and wants the Wolfpack to bring it at Road Wild. And that last one's and the last one standing wins, and he points at the Giant. They have the gold, and there is only one piece missing, and the fans chant Goldberg. Brian Adams tells the fans to have a cup of shut the hell up. He talks about being in Japan, kicking butt and taking names. He calls Goldberg a flash in the pan and tells him to bring his best move as he will be beaten.
Raven is sitting in the corner of the ring whining that he's still hated and despised. He wants to know when it will be about him. Here comes Raven. No, Raven's already there. Here comes Saturn wearing a biker's shirt. Saturn gets in the ring and he is sick of hearing Raven's cry. He wants to know how tough it was to be spoilt rich kid and tells him to bring it. Canyon runs in and gets destroyed by Saturn. Raven is grabbed, but Canyon runs in and flatlines Saturn, and Raven leaves untouched. Canyon is now booed.
Well, we go on to match one, and that is Barbarian versus Jim Duggan. And Duggan demolishes him. Barbarian is knocked to the floor, and Jimmy Hart encourages him, and he gets back into the ring, only to be run over. Duggan, though, telegraphs the backdrop, and it is now the Barbarian's time to unload on him. Jimmy Hart hits Duggan in the head too. I doubt that did much. Barbarian body slams him, but misses the elbow drop. Jimmy grabs Duggan, and Barbarian goes for the boot, and of course Duggan ducks, and down goes Hart, and Barbarian is rolled up, and it is over.
Oh, thank fuck, it was short. Hugh Morris comes down, and the brawl is on. Meng gets in the ring and puts Morris in a death grip. Duggan clears the ring with a board, and wants to shake Meng's hand, but instead gets a death grip.
Yes, the Togan death grip.
It's Bischoff Leno time. Liz's fake laugh is terrible. Some Monica jokes, a lot about her on her knees. Okay, those are a bit funny. Now some chin jokes, and he's claimed to be a biker, but Hogan is a real biker, and Bischoff has seen him naked. What? Leno wears an extra large helmet. Fans do not like this. I do not blame them. More chin jokes. Now they created extra bladders, and you can have a beer and watch Nitro without getting off the couch. Bischoff finally sits down and asks Liz about Randy, and always thinks about him when it comes to Viagra jokes. He is actually doing headlines. The fans are turning against the chanting. The fans are turning against this, chanting boring. Second time they are in Texas, and if not careful, it will be their last. Now he finally calls out his mentor and lover, joking on the last thing I think, Hogan, but he has seen him naked, and he's actually getting cheered by the fans because they're glad the jokes are done.
Hogan gives Liz a kiss. He wishes a happy birthday to some guy. Now they go to footage of the Tonight Show from last week. Eubanks is upset at what Eric Bischoff did last week. He and Leno play it off well as they make fun of wrestling, and Leno acts like he does not know what this means. They show clips from last week. Leno goes off on Hogan about his painted-on beard and sees better wrestling on Springer, which is true. Hogan is all shiny and really old. Now back to Nitro, and Hogan mentions Lawyer and Leno has stepped way over the line. He knows Leno is going to Sturgis and that he is being egged on. As a professional courtesy, he's given Leno a chance to back off so he can live with a bit of integrity. If this does not happen, he will kick his butt on his own show. Bischoff is going to show Leno what happens to celebrities when they get in Hogan's world, and that is Malone later tonight.
Well, DDP is just fine. Gene calls him out. Gene calls DDP courageous for last week. He wants to know who attacked him. And it was Hollywood scum Hogan. And they actually bleep out suck. And DDP states that Hogan got him last week, but did not kill him, and he cannot be killed either. DDP is huffing and puffing in anger. He has one thing on his mind, and that's getting rid of the self-professed almighty god of professional wrestling. And if he gets in the ring with him tonight, he will feel the bang.
Dusty Rhodes is still around.
Well,
in the 98.
yeah, 20 years ago, yeah.
He is with Hall and Norton. He is with Hall and Norton head to the announce table. Hall does not want to take too much time because there has been too much whining already. Seeing as Nash doesn't want to face him, so Red Rover, send Stinger on over. Dusty has the mic and goes off on Larry about interfering in NWO business. Dusty is pissed that Larry colluded to get rid of him and take his place while making fun of him and butchering the English order. The fans chant for Larry and Dusty has a rag and claims he is under a Texas gag order. Not sure what that means. Hall drops the rag in his lap and gives him a little push before leaving.
Wow. Match 2, Jim Neidhart versus Scott Norton. Larry is not allowed to get in the Underboy's face as he is an announcer. Match is over with the powerbomb. Jim just left after being pinned and did not sell it. He walked away. They wait for Goldberg to come out and Doug Dillinger is knocking on his door and finally enters the room and it's in a shambles and there's NWO graffiti everywhere.
Here comes Bret Hart. He starts off by saying a little congratulations in order. The wrestling profession has become a place for pimps and dogs until now. Chalk one up for the good guys. He tells DDP to take his sorry ass excuses, to remember to show up and fight or not to show up at all. He promises to give everyone a shot at and to become the greatest US champ of all time. He tells Sting that he does not need to apologise as it was a misunderstanding. He has been invited to join the NWO and out of respect for Sting, he stays on the outer fringe and they bleep out the word screw when he states that is what happened to Sting at Starrcade. Last week was Sting's fault and it was his brash behaviour that cost him the title. The only thing wrong are the fans. They are scum and will lead him down the wrong path and that he is his friend.
Well, that all makes sense then. That's fine, I suppose. Match 3, Chris Jericho versus Dean Malenko for the Cruiserweight title. Dean struts down with a purpose. I guess, no, poipus would be a dolphin. And as he gets in the ring, he's drop kicked right off the apron. He's flung into the barricade. He's rolled back in the ring and Chris goes up top and jumps right into a drop kick. They go back and forth. Dean is placed up top and Jericho shoved off and Dean leaps and tries for a sunset flip, but he's nearly put in a lion tamer. Dean gets to the ropes and Jericho springboard kicks him to the floor and then strikes with a plancha.
Commercial. Back from commercial. Jericho chops him a couple of times. Dean ducks and spin kicks him only to run into a boot, but Jericho grabs him. He's back suplexed and nearly pinned. Release German, that is. Jericho is sandwiched with a lariat in the corner but counters out of a suplex with an inverted one and then gets a near fall after a lion salt. Malenko on top. Malenko floats over on the suplex attempt. Malenko floats over on the suplex attempt and then blocks another move and strikes with a butterfly powerbomb. Dean starts to turn him over into the cloverleaf and does so, but he's right by the ropes and Jericho grabs him. Dean body slams him and takes an hour to climb up top. Jericho crutches him and goes up top after him but is DDT'd off. Dean rolls on top of him and Jericho grabs the ropes at the last second. Jericho grabs brass knuckles and the ref clearly saw them. He gets back in the ring and Malenko is right there and he stomps away. He shoves the ref away and then checks on him. Jericho goes for the big blow but misses and Jericho is dropped as he drops the knucks and knocks out Jericho, but he stupidly celebrates as in caught and DQ'd.
Overbooked but still fun, I suppose. Dean takes it quite calmly and just leaves. Gene is at the door. Goldberg, with a cop there too, is beside himself right now, I guess, but the interview will happen soon.
And match 4 is Curt Henning versus Mongo McMichael.
Yay. They bring back last full brawl and how Curt is blamed for the breakup of the Horsemen. Mongo goes off on him but is guillotined off the rope and then knocked to the floor. Rude runs his head into the side of the ring, but Mongo bounces his throat off the top two. Mongo gets back in the ring and power slams him. He goes over to Rude to yell at him and gets his foot grabbed, and Curt kicks him once and finishes him off with the Plex.
So they talk about the Horseman, and then Curt beats him.
Yeah, fuck him. Here comes Hogan with Bischoff and a Disciple in tow. Bischoff assures Hogan he will fight whoever showed that Leno footage, but Hogan is not too worried about that as he switched gears. He has the war bonnet. He mocks DDP for taking on the best ass kicking in wrestling, and he's tired of him spreading lies. Vader buries his opponent by making him look like a chump. Tonight, it will be his last wrestling match, brother.
I am not watching the Bash at the Beach match again. WCW is desperate, showing it for free, but then again it hypes up the upcoming pay-per-view, but then the match sucked hard.
Yeah, it's got quite incredible that pay-per-view match that they had, people pay money for it. He's just been repeated on and on again on Nitro. But here comes Goldberg. Hopefully they do not disappoint, as this is his first interview. Gene states Goldberg does not need to speak, as he acts instead. Goldberg states that they were not thinking when they ransacked his locker room. He's been watching Hogan and his cronies. He's not going to stop, as he's destroyed everyone in his path. Tonight he's going to make an example of Bryan Adams and declares that he is next.
So this is the kind of angle you was looking for, taking out the NWO Hollywood one by one.
Yeah.
Starting at the bottom, and you can't get any lower than Bryan Adams.
No, you can't, and it's a brilliant thing. And
Or Vincent, I suppose.
I think it could work. Oh, we'll line them all up, you could spear them all together, can't he?
Yeah. But anyway, here comes Arn, and Gene meets him by the entrance. Gene knows that he's been injured and thinks that Arn leaned on Dean being kind of hard. Arn gave everything in becoming a Horseman, and Dean made it personal. For Arn, it is personal, as his best friend is at home. Tonight, both Dean and Mongo have failed and lost people they should not have. The Horsemen have gone downhill, and Mongo should have been more motivated. And now Double A tells him to let it be.
Up next, Scott Hall versus the Sting. In a haze of smoke from the pyro, Hall tosses his toothpick, and Sting, who promptly kicks his ass. A wobbly Hall is tossed to the floor. Hall gets in the ring, and Sting falls for a test of strength and gets his eyes raked. Sting ducks after the whip, and Hall catches him on a crossbody attempt, and he gets two. Hall stomps away, adding insult to injury by paintbrushing him. Sting reverses the whip, and Hall waits patiently for his Stinger splash. Now one to the back, and another to the front. Death drop time, and instead of pinning him, he puts him in the death lock.
Bret Hart comes down, and Sting drops Hall and goes after him. Here comes Henning and Vincent, and they assault him. Now the ref calls for the bell. Luger comes out to help Sting. Nash is out too, and he demolishes Vincent. Bret Hart is just sitting in the corner watching it all. Nash goes to pull up Hall, who nuts him. Now Hall stomps away on Nash. Bret picks up Sting, and Sting back kicks him in the nuts. Sting goes for the deathlock, and Bret scrambles to safety.
Yeah, so we're continuing the story of Wolfpack versus the NWO. I mean, these are probably the two best wrestlers that they have, haven't they? Really put them together with NWO versus Wolfpack. But anyway, Buff is in a wheelchair and is pushed down the ramp, and he topples off. Scotty acts scared and tries to help him, and they end up giggling like schoolgirls. Gene calls him a con man. Buff shows off the scar and claims it was a planned attack. Scotty giggles about how Buff brought his mother out and also managed to keep a straight face when Hulk pushed him out the wheelchair. They fooled his brother. Scotty's flexing, and the blood thrown through it is white and black, and it is for life. Scotty has talked about having him beat up for years, and he'll do so again at Sturgis. JJ comes down. He's livid about what Buff has done and how low he has gone. He's going to make sure Scotty's match.
Well, up next is match 7, and it is Bryan Adams versus Goldberg for the WCW title.
I think Goldberg's entrances are longer than his matches, but I enjoy it.
Well, Vincent, with a distraction, draws Goldberg over to him, and Bryan Adams attacks from behind. Hangs Goldberg up on the top rope.
Well, Bryan Adams might walk out of here new champion.
Shoulder block off the top. 1, 2.
Ooh.
Goldberg managing to kick out.
Ah.
That's the first time Goldberg's been pinned.
I think that's the first time we've ever heard Goldberg in a match. And now he's going to try and suplex Big Bill.
Oh, gets him up and over.
Oh my God, Bryan Adams beating down the Goldberg. The fans behind Bill.
Looks for a second, but Goldberg with...
Oh, what a spear by Goldberg. Well, he got out of it somehow, and then he spears Bryan Adams.
Vincent comes in. He gets speared.
Well, that's for life.
Some
Some
love.
love. And now he's going to Irish whip Bryan Adams.
Bam. A spear.
And now what happens after the spear, Dan?
Well, James, he jacks him up, hammers him down. 1, 2, 3.
My God. 1, 2, 1, and Goldberg still your champion. Run for Adams. Now Adams should go. He shouldn't be part of the NWO anymore. That should be him done. How impressed with that? What are your thoughts on Goldberg?
Again, with dastardly tactics against him, Goldberg can still pull through and pull out a victory. What's not to love about it?
Up next is Hollywood Hogan versus DDP, and the obvious occurs. Hogan beats on DDP from the get-go. He uses his belt to choke him out. DDP ribs are taped, and he has a brace too. DDP fires back and stomps on Hogan. He drills him with an elbow. Hogan rakes the eyes and then suplexes DDP. He punches the head over and over and then drives his knee into his back. Hogan chops away and sends him for the ride. And after a clothesline, gets two. Hogan discus clothesline, and Hogan no-sells a clothesline to send him over the top. He falls instead, and so DDP stomps on him instead.
Now on the floor, and DDP keeps after him, but Hogan rakes the eyes. The disciple helps out, but DDP takes out both of them. Back in the ring, DDP is sent for the ride into the corner where he is clotheslined. Hogan hits the big boot, but he delays and DDP hits the diamond cutter. But here comes Henning and friends, and now the Wolfpack, and the brawl is on. Goldberg jogs down and decleats Hall, and now the disciple. Out goes Henning, and the Giant is in. And he chokeslams Goldberg, and we are out of time as the Wolfpack looks on.
Oh my God. Well, nice to see DDP getting some offense. They work for setting up an inevitable pay-per-view match. And a great match after two. So let's, after all that, what are your thoughts on what you've seen on Monday Nitro this past couple of months, Dan? What's the good and the bad?
Good, Goldberg. The Eddie Chavo angle, I think that's quite entertaining as well. Jericho, he's very entertaining. Bad, NWO Hollywood.
Well, we're going to get into it in a minute because, of course, we've got our 5-point system. But let's look at the ratings first. And June 1st, episode 142, Nitro got blasted. It only received a 3.7, while Raw got a 4.4.
On June the 8th, they brought out the big guns, long promos and solid wrestling to try and counter Raw. A taped Raw and an inferior one, and still lost, barely. 4.3 to a 4.2. And this has to be disappointing, but they should not panic. They have a lot of TV to fill, but can certainly keep up the fast-paced angles, solid wrestling and great promos. Had there been a legit main event, this may have been 5 stars. Hogan had some oomph. We got Goldberg, Eddie and Jericho. Benoit and Booker had a great match. Wolfpack had some great promos, and even Rodman, who fucking skipped practice for the NBA Finals, to be here. Well,
June 14th, Great American Bash, pay-per-view buy rate, 0.75. That was 273,000 homes. And then June 15th, Nitro loses 4.1 to 4.3 to Raw.
June 22nd, Nitro got 4.1 and Raw wins with a 4.3.
So exactly the same as the previous week. And then June 29th, tonight witnessed the arrival of DDP and Karl Malone. The heavily hyped arrival along with Hogan and Rodman do not help the ratings. So they stayed at a 4.1, while Raw exploded with a 5.4. So Raw won all 11, now into July.
Yes, July 6th, Raw was a 4.0 and Nitro was a 4.8.
And we all know why that was, because Goldberg versus Hogan for the world title. So it proved people are still interested. 13th of July, Nitro 4.5, Raw 4.7, so that one out there.
On the 20th of July, it was a 5.0 for Raw and a 4.7 for Nitro.
And then on the 27th of July, one we just watched, Nitro again 4.7, Raw 4.9, so Nitro lost again. But even though it lost in the Monday Night War, the ratings, did it win overall? And we're going to do the WCW now, the 5-point system, which of course is roster,
setting,
promo,
matches,
and of course the overall that we have. So let's start this off with The roster, what are your thoughts on the roster? What do you give it out of 5 for June and July? We're going to count the winner for the past 2 months now. It's going to be exciting.
I think the roster's looking stronger. They haven't really changed it, but they're starting to get a lot more character, and the right wrestlers are coming through. Like, you see more of Bret wrestling. I know it's, I've been complaining about him, but it is good to see him back in between the ropes again. So I'm going to give that one a 4.5. Do I add that half? Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I was very impressed with the roster and how it's, how they've been doing it with the roster as well.
So you are giving it 4.5 out of 5. That's cool. Yeah, I give it a 4 out of 5. Again, Nitro's really, really strong in it. With all the great talent that's still yet to leave. Even, Giant and Nash and Hall and Macho, yeah, that's all right. But when you look at the mid-card, when you look at Malenko, Mysterio, Jericho, you look at Booker T, Benoit, Bret Hart, Finlay, all these great, and the roster's really, really strong. It's still stronger than Raw, but they don't use the correct people. They use people like Rick Martel and Barry Darsow instead of the people that you actually want to see. So I agree with that. So that was roster. So setting, for me, Nitro does beat out Raw still with a setting. It's one of these things that has always had an upper hand to it. So I'm still going to go the same. And Atlanta Dome, I know it wasn't on pay-per-view. I know WCW Blue Lead Wad, but it's still a great spectacle, and it felt like a big event, didn't it? To be a Nitro in a stadium feel. So I'm going to give it 4.5 this month because of that special show.
I'm going to give it a 4, and that is because of the dirty ring apron and the ring mat. I just thought it looked hideous. I do like the settings, and at least they put some effort into it, but the ring mat, it just looked dirty.
I agree with that, and we did point out, didn't we, at pay-per-view. For the promos, WCW distinct lacking. When you start a Nitro off with a Sting promo with no music to it, some people are going to think that the program's not working correctly. So again, they're behind. The production values of WWE, WWF have always been a bit stronger. Little bits and pieces have changed, and it's great to have Mean Gene and stuff, but when it comes to that kind of side, I think they're lacking. In ring, I think the Wolfpack are kind of, excited a little bit, and you've got great talkers like Jericho and people like that as well. So it's still going to be a strong rating for me, because I think Nitro's done quite well these past months. I think for me, promo, I'm still going to give it 4 out of 5.
If you take away the Hogan side of promos, which are completely ridiculous, I think Nash can talk better than he can wrestle, and he can't talk that well. There are some entertaining moments, the Eddie Chavo kind of side of things. I know there's not so much talking going on, but it's the way they do things together, and it is entertaining. But with Chris Jericho, he's one of the greatest talkers, so I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Can't say fairer than that. And then
fairer than then.
Can't say fairer than then. And then matches. Talk about the actual. Now we're not. We're just watching. I think. Let me get a sentence out. Well, making sense. So look at matches, and I think what's important this time round, we're not comparing it to Raw. We're just judging the Nitro product on the Nitro product, which we do anyway. But I think looking at the back of the matches, I think when you can have a Mysterio versus Malenko match, Jericho versus Malenko, Booker versus Benoit, Booker versus Bret. We can see Benoit versus Bret. You've got Goldberg versus Hogan in the main event, Sting versus Hall, and Nash involved. I really, really strong. What are your thoughts on the matches that we've seen this past couple of months?
The matches, I think they've been a vast, vast improvement. They're starting to team the right guys together, people with a lot of chemistry. But it's the ending of the matches that really let it down for me. 9 times out of 10, some idiot comes in and ruins what you think could be a fucking great match. And if they had a clean ending or a couple of more clean finishes, it'd be a greater product.
Yeah, it really would, and this is the shame about it. I'm going to give no matches this month 4.5 out of 5.
I'm going to give the matches a 4.5, but I'm going to give the match endings a 3.5, so I'm going to average it to a 4.
That's good debating by you there, yeah. So I think that's fair enough. Like you say, it is annoying, but I think for me, I'm happy enough in what we've seen. I think it's been a good couple of months for Nitro, even though they are losing the the Monday Night War, so to speak. So overall rating for the show, again, I'm not going to be too harsh. I think it's one of the better months that we've seen these past couple of months. It's been the only problem is there's been a lot to jam in. So I think if we were watching it like 4 weeks worth of stuff, I think that would have been cool. But I think with this, you kind of get more into it as well. You kind of WCW focus. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 for my rating for the month.
I'm going to give it... It's been better than an 8, but it's not quite been an 8.5 in mine, so I'm going to give it an 8.25. I think it has improved vastly, but it's still got room for improvement. I'm sorry to be awkward, but
no, that's right. You do know I have to work out the maths now for this. So if, like we say, there we go. So there we go, both our ratings. I need some music quickly whilst I work out these scores, Dan.
And now I know it was requested by you, James, so I'm going to have a quick blast on your favourite ever song.
Do yeah. Cha 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 la cha. Ba ba dee dee ba dee dee boo.
So yes, that was the music. Now we are got the scores. So Nitro for you, 24.25 out of 30 this month. Not a bad score at all.
Not bad, not bad.
I scored it 25.5. But the question is that enough to beat Raw? Well, you haven't got long to wait, because our next episode is the WNR168, which is Extreme Rules 2018, and then you lucky devils. A week later, it's the WNR169. No jokes, please. And we are WWE.
Just 169.
Yes, just 169. I'm going to say the episode like that for the rest of the time now, aren't I? It's WWE catch up from the Attitude Era. Yes, it's Austin versus McMahon. We are coming off King of the Ring 1998. Literally, Mankind coming off the Hell in a Cell in 1998. Going back in there to see what happened in June and July. And see if they are better than WCW. And if they truly won the Monday Night War. That's it from today. I don't think there's anything else to say, really, is there? So that is it. Don't forget, our next episode is WNR 168. It's WWE Extreme Rules 2018. But until then, don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at WWE Network Review or
at Vince McDan WWE.
I'm at J_Rowlands. We're across the Google platforms, WWE Network Review on Google Plus. Send us an email, podcast at gmail.com. We're also on Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. You come and find our page and give us a like with the WWE Network Review podcast, or you can come and find me and add me as a friend. I am Vince McDan.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, WWE Network Review podcast there. We have clips on there, podcasts got at the same time to do there. To do other places like SoundCloud.
On your phone.
Don't forget to subscribe to our Music Maker Diddley. We're also on Spreaker Radio. We've got a live shows, NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam, August 18th and 19th. And, of course, iTunes, where you can download, subscribe, rate and review there. But that is it. I have been James Rowlands, and as always joined by
Dan White.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.
Bye.